I'm a little early today. I'm a little early today. Good evening, good afternoon, good day. My name is Nomadic Kitty. Welcome to my channel. I have a new phone, so I want you guys to just give me a little grace. Give me a little grace, but I'm here early. Give me a just a little grace. Let me see. Oh Lord. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I have a new phone. So you guys, hold on. So I'm trying to adjust it. I'm trying to, hey Gemini, I'm trying to adjust my new phone. So if I accidentally click off, y'all can like understand. Like if I accidentally like bloop bloop, y'all be like, oh shit. I'll be like bloop bloop. The lighting is very bright. It's very bright. It is so bright. I'm just like, this is some real bright lighting. So I got a brand new Samsung, the Samsung Fold. I got a Samsung Fold phone, you guys. So I'm trying to, okay, like I think I got it. I think I got it a little bit, a little bit. Lighting on, lighting off. Because hello, Tiff Mac. Hello, everybody. Hey, Shelling P. I'll give you guys a moment to get in here. This has been a very interesting week. Let's just say, to say at the least, it's been a very interesting week, you guys. I got the stuff here to do my face, y'all, because I wore makeup to the BTS concert. And so, anyway, this week it will be a bevy of videos. I like to say hi to everybody who's watching us on the rewatch. This live stream, we'll be talking about my BTS concert experience. We will be talking about what else? Just a bunch of things. We've been talking about briefly. I have two videos coming out. If you are a member, you will see my vlog before it comes out on Monday, which is my concert vlog. Then I have a concert recap video that I just did, and that will be on Tuesday. And then I have a bunch of other videos, but one thing at a time. We're going to talk about my BTS experience. I'm going to try to put more in this live stream than what I have in my videos. So, hopefully you guys, it's been a heck of a week, Katina. It has been, hello, Lisa. Hello, Marie Miller. It has been a heck of a week. This week has taxed my patience, my resolve, and everything else. And then it looks like uh on my YouTube, I didn't lost. I may have to like broadcast from my other phone. We'll see. We'll see. But this is fine for now. I do have a live stream and I have a live stream tomorrow. Tomorrow's live stream will be a Q&A. It'll be a question and answer session so you guys can ask me anything K-pop related, industry related, non-K-pop related, anything, my opinions about certain things. Tomorrow will be a Q&A because I haven't done a Q&A in it's been a long time since I've actually done like a Q&A. But this week we'll be going over the things that have happened in the K-pop news. It's been a lot, but not a lot. There's been certain things that have happened in the news beyond BTS, but especially BTS. Tired collective of misfits. I love that. That day one got you sick. Oh my God. I screamed so much that I almost like lost my voice on the Arlington concert, but we'll talk about that. I'll just give people a minute to gather around and gather in. Like I said, I don't know how long this is going to be because I have to go pick my son up, y'all. My son is at his friend's house, so I have to go pick him up. I'm trying to do something with my stupid face, but wearing makeup. I wore makeup to the concert, which I normally don't do, just because makeup makes my face break out, and lo and behold, my face is broken out on the side. So I'm like, huh, that was predictable. But anyway, yeah, I know people are gonna be watching on the rewatch. Make sure you like, share, subscribe on the rewatch, and we're going to get started. I hope everybody had a good weekend, a good day, good evening. I'm Kiki. It's my channel, Nomadic Kitty. If I haven't already mentioned that, I have to go through the formalities. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the video. That helps my content reach other people. Like I said, this video, I'm trying to see where should we begin. I'm gonna start with Gun Ill of Ordinary Heroes before I get into BTS. I just want to say something. If you don't know, I did a video about Gun Ill and he got bounced out of the group Extraordinary Heroes. It's a K-pop rock group. He had said some things to a quote unquote girlfriend that he knew for 2 weeks. Yeah, that he knew for 2 weeks. Yeah, okay, that
Okay.
he knew for 2 weeks. Let me see, make sure that's not my son. Okay, so he knew some girl for 2 weeks that he was allegedly dating, and he was frustrated. And he was being haunted by sasangs, and so he was frustrated with the fandom, and I think he called them a bunch of bees, some of the B word, because he was mad, and she just happened to screenshot and record what he was saying, which I've said in my video that that was a setup. And I said normally I wouldn't believe it, but knowing what I know about K-pop and the things that I've been saying for over almost 2 years now, what I learned about K-pop is that there is in South Korea and Asia, and especially in entertainment, there is a lot of blackmail that goes on. There are people who deliberately get with famous people in order to expose them and shake them down for money. He said he has a lawyer now, and his lawyer has said that he will not be pursuing legal action against her. I don't know what kind of legal recourse he would have because it's not like she fabricated the messages. It wasn't AI. It was he admitted it really was him. However, from what I'm being told, that JYP tried to spin it like him and JYP had talks and he just resigned. And I was like, who said that? Because when I reported the story, I first did a post and I said, JYP, I said, he got fired. I said, who? JYP was basically what I learned was going around telling the news outlets that they need to change the wording of the story. So that's what I heard JYP was doing. So again, I went and read the articles and things, and it said that he got fired. And then 4 or 5 hours later, they was talking about, oh, well, he had talks with JYP Entertainment and he decided to resign. I said, wait a minute. I said, resign. I said, that's not what I read a couple of hours ago. I thought I was tripping. And y'all the only one. Am I the only one to notice that? That all of a sudden the article started to change, like the narrative started to change on social media too. That him and JYP had talks, and he decided to leave the group. I said, no, he got fired. So he went and lawyered up after he released a statement, and he was like, "No, I didn't resign." And I'm like, "Well, who?" I was like, "Who said he resigned? He didn't resign. He got fired." And so JYP was trying to change the narrative, honey. They was trying to change the narrative. They were like, "Oh, well, we had mutual talks, and he just decided to leave the group." He didn't leave that group. He got fired, y'all. Oh, you saw that too? Hello, Daphne. Yeah, you saw that too. That they was trying to change. They was trying to do the switch up. All suddenly, all the articles now are saying that he resigned and he left, no, he got fired. That's what was reported initially, that he got fired, y'all. He didn't agree to it. So I guess I don't know. From what I learned, that he's trying to have talks with JYP to get his job back because he's the drummer and the leader of the group. He's the oldest one, and so the idea that JYP is trying to switch it up, I thought that was funny. I was like, oh, y'all trying to switch up the narrative. I was like, because fans was like, wait a minute. And so then the people in Korea, once he released his statement, Gun Il released his statement, they were turning against him. They were sitting there saying that he shouldn't have said that. But I was like, okay, the only thing he messed up is by trusting somebody. And then when he was talking about this girlfriend, he was like, oh, I met her through an acquaintance. You met her through an acquaintance? Child, and you trusted her that much? And you barely even knew her? And then after 2 weeks, I'm like, how much did they even spend time together in 2 weeks? They knew each other 2 weeks. What kind of relationship? What can you do to possibly piss somebody off in 2 weeks? That's why I said I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I firmly believe, and I have no way of proving it, and I haven't heard anything like this, but I believe that she got with him on purpose, that he started ranting to her, that she was like, ooh, let me go ahead and record these messages real quick. And I honestly believe that she was trying to shake him down for money or something, and he probably said no. And then he don't want to be honest about the situation, or he may be honest later on. I don't think he wants to be honest about the situation. And I think she probably tried to shake him down. And he was like, I ain't got money like that, or no, do your worst. And then she released the messages. And he probably knew she was gonna release something and she was trying to blackmail him. And he was probably like, okay, go ahead and release the messages and the whatever you got. It's not like I'm gonna lose my job. But then it turned out, oof, I don't think he thought he was going to lose his job. And that's what his statement really says. I didn't read his entire statement in my video because it's a long statement. But I believe that he knew about the messages that they were out there and that he knew about the voice recordings. But what I think is that he didn't, old dude didn't think he was going to lose his job. I don't think he thought, I'll just apologize. I'll get reprimanded, and it'll be some heat for a little bit, but I'll let it blow over, and then I'll just go back to normal. I don't think he thought he was gonna lose his job, and I think he was like, wait a minute, I ain't lost my job over this because it wasn't enough. But people say JYP. I told y'all they got a zero tolerance policy, y'all. They have a zero tolerance policy for stuff like this. So I was like, yeah. Oh, you lost right now, Daphne? Why you lost? Daphne, we're talking about Gun Il from Extraordinary Heroes, who was the drummer and the leader of the group. This week, what happened is that his ex-girlfriend or some woman he was involved with for 2 weeks, he had voiced some concerns about Sasangs following him, trying to break in his hotel room. He had voiced his frustrations about it to her. She screenshotted the cacao messages that he had sent to her. And also there were voice recordings of him talking to her about how frustrated he was with the fans. And so there was a bunch of things that were getting on his nerves and he was upset. She in turn went on to social media and released these recordings and these screenshotted messages. And he was called in because he's underneath because Extraordinary Heroes is underneath JYP, and he was fired this week. And it was shocking because normally K-pop industries don't fire somebody unless it's something serious, like an SA or something illegal. But and then he Gun Il, he came out and made a statement saying that he was surprised that he got fired. He didn't expect to get fired, and he got a lawyer. And I guess they are trying to work with JYP to get his job back. Because usually he would just write an apology letter and yada yada yada. It's raining. Yes, I hear it's raining in Toronto. Oh yeah, Daphne, that's okay, girl. That's fine. Yeah, I didn't think, how does anyone in entertainment still trust using Cacao Messenger? I don't know. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. How does anyone in entertainment trust anybody after 2 weeks? That, he had a right to express his frustration. There was people apparently breaking in his hotel room. There are people that put tracker on his car. There were people online dragging them. I didn't know Extraordinary Heroes pop off like that. I said, I didn't think it was that kind of group. I was like, okay. I was shocked that they have sasaengs. But then again, because they're not really K-pop, they're like a rock group. But I mean, I understand that they still in the K-pop system in JYP, but I was like, I didn't know. And their fans are usually like in their late 20s. I thought maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Oh, the water's ankle deep in Toronto? Oh my God. Yeah, I heard about that. It was raining last night. Oh, I wish I missed the rain. I wish it would rain here. It's like 103 degrees for the past month with no rain in sight here. I wish it would rain here a little bit. In Toronto, where BTS is at, is it an outdoor arena or indoor? Oh, they have a dedicated underground fan base. Okay. I didn't know. I was like, I didn't know they didn't pop off about that. Would they settle with him? Yeah. I mean, I don't know what legal recourse he would have. Maybe wrongful termination, maybe a breach of contract, but I don't know how far. It depends on how far he wants to take it. But I don't know if he wants to take it that far. It would be easier for JYP and him for them to just reinstate him back in the group. Hopefully he gets reinstated. He seems like an all right guy. He was just frustrated and vented to the wrong person. But to me, he had a right to be frustrated with those fans. And he was just saying something, and I said he probably was tired. He's probably frustrated. He probably had a few drinks in him. And then he called up this girl and was like, oh my God, I'm frustrated, blah, 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 blah. And the fact that people don't bring no heat on the girl who recorded him, because to me, she a low down dirty scallywag. For her to sit there and do something to him, I don't know about y'all. I didn't have many relationships, but 2 weeks in a relationship, I've never been like, let me record phone calls and screenshot. Like that's odd to me. That and then once it was let out that they knew each other for 2 weeks, I was like, wait, 2 weeks? What could he possibly do in 2 weeks to make her this angry? I don't think it was a situation. There's some rumors going around the internet. Okay, let me tell you allegedly. There's some rumors going around the internet that he was seeing somebody else while he was talking to her. But that's a rumor. I don't know if I believe that or not. But that's the rumor that he was allegedly talking to somebody else. But again, two weeks. Just 2 weeks. I mean, it's not like she in love with the dude in 2 weeks. Who records voicemail? Not even voicemail, conversations. I was like, I said, this sounds very purposeful to me. And I hate to be, get my tinfoil hat and be conspiratorial. But yeah, I think, yeah, that she sound, yes, it sounded like she had an agenda. Yes, that's what I said, Tiff. It sounded to me like that this was a setup. That she talked to this dude, knew he was famous. It was like, I'll just wait, I'll just see if something happened. And then when he started complaining, she probably was like, if I could screenshot him, I could probably get him caught up. And like I said, I am convinced that she probably initially approached him and probably told him, I'm going to release these messages. And he probably was like, okay, do your worst. What's going to happen to me? And thought he was going to get reprimanded. He's going to have to apologize, and probably just thought I'd just take the hit, and not thinking that he was going to get fired. I don't think he thought for 1 second that he was going to get fired over this. I wouldn't think that either. So I feel bad for the dude, but that's why it's hard for idols to date and trust people, because you never know when people have an agenda. And obviously she had, because again, the idea that you would be enough to ruin someone's career, or maybe she thought he wasn't going to get fired either. Maybe she was like, oh, well, I didn't think he was going to get fired. Maybe she thought, okay, I thought I was just going to ruin his reputation and just do some foolishness and some fuckery. Maybe she effed around and found out and was like, well, dang, I didn't mean to ruin his whole career. I was just mad at him. I just lashed out on social media. So again, I'm giving her some benefit of doubt too, that maybe she probably didn't think that he was going to lose his career over this. She probably thought he was just going to get in trouble, that that he would face some backlash from the fans, and that was it. I can't imagine any scenario where she would think he was going to be fired too. I don't think she wanted him to get fired. I think it was like, oops, like, oh God, like I didn't know this was going down. And maybe she told him on the low, maybe privately, she probably told him, okay, like, look, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean for this to happen. Like, wow. Like, I just wanted to mess with your reputation, not get you fired. And so I think maybe I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt that she didn't know that they was just going to hurt him, his reputation, not him lose his whole career. Because basically, with him getting fired from JYP, this affects his whole career. This affects old dude's whole career, I hope he don't harm himself either. What was he fired for? Goldwyn. He was fired because he had dated a young lady for 2 weeks, and he was frustrated with fans. There were sasaengs trying to break in his hotel room. There were people putting tracker on their cars. And so he was frustrated with fans, and he had said in some cacao messages, in also verbal conversations that she recorded, that he was frustrated with the fans. I think he called them a bunch of bitches and stuff like that. He was angry with the fans. And then the fans were getting online and talking about, I think, one of the tour dates. The fans were getting online and complaining about the performance. And then I think he was kind of complaining about some other people in the band. Just normal things when people complain about to their spouses or friends or everything. She released those messages. She went online. She posted those cacao messages and the recordings. She recorded him saying these things, and she posted it online. And he came back and said, because at first people were like, is this AI? Because, people been tampering. But he came out and said, yes, those messages are mine. I said it. And here's why I said it. And then JYP, they fired him. So they fired him. That girl sounds like a monster. Even if she didn't intend for him to lose his job. Again, I can't think of any scenario in a relationship where after 2 weeks, you that pressed about some dude. 2 weeks that and again, they were in the middle of a tour. And so if they were dating for 2 weeks, how many times did she even see this guy? How many times did they even go out? How many times did they spend the night together? Like I'm like, girl, it couldn't have been that good, girl. Like I'm just saying. Like how many times were they actually really together in those 2 weeks? Like, because he was still on tour. For enough for you to get this angry in 2 weeks? That she sounds crazy. She sounds crazy. Yeah, we vent. You can I complain about my job. Me and Jennifer talk about work, and you complain about your job like, man, my boss did this and this, or my coworker getting on my nerves. I mean, you didn't think that like, okay, these messages gonna get exposed and here I'm gonna lose my job. Everybody vents about their work, about people that they work with, about their job, about their clients, their customers. It's just that's just what normal people do. That's just and the fact that she betrayed his confidence in 2 weeks kind of makes me think that she got with this guy on purpose because she knew he was famous and maybe she saw an opportunity to try to blackmail him or try to hem him up in some way. I mean, sometimes, I tell people the blackmail ain't it's not even about money. Sometimes it's just people want proximity to you. I've heard about that too. I heard that ex-girlfriends and ex-boyfriends, like, they will still call famous people idols in South Korea because they just want access to you. Yeah, that ex-boyfriend that just keep texting messaging you every once in a while. And then the moment you tell him or her, like, look, we not together, we just need a clean break. Don't call me no more. Then they will flip the script. So sometimes it's not even about a bad breakup. It's just that these people they want to be in these idols' lives in some way. They want to have coffee with them every once in a while. They want to be able to pick up the phone and call you. They want to be able to message you. And then sometimes when idols try to cut it off, then people get angry. So that's kind of sometimes how it is too. So sometimes it's like, okay, I got to go have coffee with my ex. Why are you still talking to your ex? She told me if I stop texting her that she gonna put these pictures out here or something. I've heard that type of thing happens as well, which I find very bizarre. But I throw my hands up because Korea is a different culture. So I think that that's kind of maybe a cultural thing because in the West that's kind of unheard of, even with famous people, regular people. But I mean, I guess that makes sense. I guess some people just want proximity. And then even I take that back, even in American regular people, we have all experienced that the ex that won't go away. They're gonna call you, they're gonna be like, hey, what are you doing? And you're like, I ain't talked to you in months. Like, what do you want? And they will call you every once in a while. So it happens. She reported to JYP because she thought it was wrong how he was talking about fans. I know. That's what they said. They said she was mad because how he was talking to fans about fans and bandmates. I'm like, if she was that pressed about it, she could have just been like, you know what, we're not gonna talk anymore. It's been nice to meet you. This is not gonna work out, and could have just moved on with her life. That she was that pressed about it. Who is that pressed about? And again, after knowing someone for 2 weeks and they're having a tough day or a tough week, that's not an indicator of his entire personality or how he thought about the fans all the time. So in 2 weeks, she made that evaluation. Man, well, okay, lady. I know I read that and I giggled. I said, come on, lady. Now come on. She trying to spin it like she was doing something altruistic, like she was doing this good thing. She wasn't doing no good thing. She was doing some low down dirty stuff. She was wrong for that. She was wrong for that. And the fact that netizens in Korea, like, they don't get mad when people try to blackmail people. That's wild to me. Anytime someone's trying to blackmail somebody, they always blame the person that's being blackmailed. Always. Always. They always blame the celebrity that's being blackmailed. Like the same thing with that Parasite actor. That chick that he was allegedly hanging out with at hostess bars, that chick or whatever. They took her side, basically. She was blackmailing him, that Parasite actor. She was blackmailing him. She was sending him messages talking about if you don't give me money and if you don't do such and such, I'm going to tell your wife. She was blackmailing him. I'm like, how you get blackmailed and then you turn out to be the villain? So he was the villain. that Parasite actor that took his life. They made him. I'm like, well, what about the lady that's she's the one that was blackmailing him? But I guess again, that's a cultural thing. I because in America, I guess we look at blackmail as something awful. Like for us here, somebody blackmailing somebody is considered a low down person. Anybody who tries to blackmail a celebrity, it's considered something very distasteful in our culture. We don't like people trying to pressure people to do things because they have tapes or movies. And then in our country, we have laws, and depending on what state, that are more stringent in America than in Korea against blackmail. You cannot you blackmail people. You can countersue people for defamation, for fraud, for extortion. People have tried to blackmail celebrities and they have turned around and countersued them for extortion and fraud and defamation. So that's the difference in Korea. I don't think Korea has those kind of laws. Um, Matter of fact, I'm sure that they don't. Their laws are a bit different. You really have to prove something serious, like a person's trying to threaten bodily harm to you and your friends and your friends. Like there has to be threats behind it before you can hem somebody up for blackmail in South Korea. Unfortunately, it does. It sucks. It sucks, and it's very yes, it's very normalized, and a lot of times in Asian culture to blackmail people and like people have sued and there's people that have won cases and everything like that, but it is a long hard road to suing people because there has been stars within the past couple of years. I've done stories and talked about them, about people blackmailing people for years for money, and then they turn around and reported it to the police and everything like that. But it's still embarrassing for the idol because if those tapes or pictures or whatever they're being blackmailed with get out to the public, it still would ruin their career, regardless of whether they're in the right or the wrong or not. So that's the catch 22 with that. Right, exactly. So I guess when you talk to people, you just have to be fake. I guess you just have to be fake. I guess you got to be like, no, I'm not having a bad day. So that's what happened with him and his situation. So hopefully he'll get his job back. There's an actor that he is having there's a famous actor, I forgot his name in Korea. I'm not familiar with these K-drama stars. He is having a situation with his ex-girlfriend as well. Like they have accused each other. It's been going back and forth for the past week and a half. And I forgot the guy's name, she had came out and accusing him of treating her bad and everything. And then he turned around and came out in the media and accused of her of lying and seeing her ex-boyfriend while they were together. So it's a big drama. And then like as this goes on, I may come back and do a video and talk about it. But they're each like posting, cacao messages and trying to expose each other now. So I don't know if you've heard about that story. But yeah, he dated her April, and then now she's trying to claim that he made her get an abortion. Like it's crazy. And she come with receipts, it's getting messy, dating somebody. And again, you dated somebody since April of 2026, not 6, 7, 8 years ago, not 10 years. April. I was like, I don't know in my lifetime what would happen. I mean, literally, they broke up like at the end of July. So literally they were together for like what, 4 months maybe. And this situation is just crazy. I'm like, wait a minute, they dated since April. I said, well, okay, in 4 months, y'all had that kind of relationship and you got pregnant and you had an abortion and I was like, child, this sounds like a K-drama within itself. I said, Lord have mercy. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that story. And I forgot the name of the actor. I'm not familiar with these K-drama actors, but this story just been happening over the past week and a half, and they've been releasing things back and forth, and so been going back and forth through the media. So it's gotten real messy. But I'm just sitting back like, okay, what's gonna happen now? It's crazy. I can see why idols don't have a hard time trusting people and dating people. Because if I date somebody for 4 months and they gonna flip the script like this, and she all on social media would screen accusing him of all kinds of crazy stuff, I was like, oh my God. Yeah, I have to look up the actor and I will repost it. Hello, Rita. You haven't missed too much. It ain't too much. Yeah, and then so I'll go back and post about the actor so y'all can see his name, and then I'll post the information on my post on my YouTube channel so y'all can see because I don't know. I'm not, again, when it comes to these actors, I'm not familiar, but I know I've been reading about the story like with my bucket of popcorn. I'm like, and she did what now? And then she came back and said, I said, oh, shake it. I said, yeah, it's a mess, but I'll put it in my post on my YouTube channel so y'all can see who this actor is. Y'all maybe know him. Again, I don't watch K dramas like that, so I'm not familiar with him. But somebody in a relationship with somebody 4 or 5 months and they didn't flip the script like this, I'm like, girl, I hope the D was good. I hope the D was real stellar because Jesus Christ, if I'm gonna go crazy in 4 or 5 months over a man, it better be some good. It better be some good, honey. That better be the best. Better be the best piece that I didn't had in decades. For me to be over here going crazy over some dude in 4 or 5 months, it better be Stella. He because what it seemed like they had a volatile relationship since the beginning. So I was like, y'all, just she could have just left it alone, walked away. He could have walked away. They both could have just been like, you know what, this ain't working out. I guess they both gonna have to learn a lesson in the end. Let's see. Yes, then we're gonna talk about Mark Lee. I did a post about Mark Lee, the former member of NCT, the guy who got in trouble for wearing a Confederate shirt. If you don't know his name, uh, he addressed it. This happened 2 months ago, but he came out and addressed it live, I believe on his Instagram or social media or whatever. And he talked about that he didn't know the symbolism. He's like, I'm not familiar with that, which again, I've said it all along. A lot of people aren't. People just assume that people know the ins and outs of American culture and American history, and people don't. And then on top of that, he was trying not to throw his stylist under the bus. But if you read what he kind of, I mean, well, they put a transcript of what he said. But if you kind of read between the lines, yeah, he was basically saying my stylist put me in this ish, but he was trying not to throw his stylist under the bus. But I told people, I said it's not like they dressed them; they were stylists, wardrobe people to do that. And so he's like, so he was trying not to throw this wardrobe stylist or whoever under the bus that I could see. And then he was talking about, then there was somebody that posted something on there that was some Nigerian person. So yes, Mark Lee, in other words, Mark Lee apologized. And then he went to Kenya, and he always said he wanted to go to Kenya because I read about that 2 months and months ago. And then people trying to say he was in a cult, and he laughed because he's like, if I even have to, I don't understand why people think he's in a cult. He's just a Christian. There's nothing out there. His dad, I think, is a pastor at a church in Canada, and they're trying to say he's in a cult. I looked up this church. There was nothing cult-like about this church. I don't know why people are saying that he is in a cult. Like, and be it for me, for somebody who used to be in a cult. Hi, I used to be in a Christian cult. So I know cult-like stuff. He's just a Christian. Like the denomination, the church that he goes to is not like, over here like sacrificing animals and lighting candles and, hail Satan, hail Satan. Like it's not that. It's just a regular Christian denominational church. So he like, no, I'm not in a cult. What are y'all talking about? I don't even know how that even got started, that he's in a cult. And I did a video about that months ago where people were trying to say because of his religious views that he's all suddenly in a cult. I was like, y'all, you can't be Christian and not be in a cult. I do feel bad. I'm just like, he not in a cult, y'all. Like, he can't be a Christian or like without him being in a cult. He ain't never really even came out and really like spelled out his religious, like his belief systems. All he says he's a Christian, and all of a sudden that went from him being a Christian and going to church to he in a cult now. And then on top of that, he's been in the industry for a long time, for over 10 years. And I'm just like, ain't nobody thought he was in a cult long time ago? See, this is why I can't. K-pop fans are exhausting. I was like, he wasn't in a cult 10 years ago, but now suddenly he in a cult now. He ain't never hid that he was a Christian or he had Christian beliefs. He has never hid anything about that. And then all suddenly now he leave NCT and now he in a cult. I said, Jesus, take the wheel. I'm like, gee, I'm just like, I said, K-pop fans got me up here defending Christians. Out of all the things that I never had that on my bingo card in 2026 that I would be up here defending Christians. Okay. I was just like, that's just a bizarre leap. It's just a weird leap. Okay. I'm like, how do we, based on, and then on top of that, let me reiterate, based on no evidence, there's no evidence that he has done cult like things. Again, I ain't seen him with no weird effigies. I ain't heard about him, like out in the desert somewhere. Like, oh, I got to go fast for 30 days. My church requires me to fast in the desert. We haven't heard anything weird or unusual about his, he's not out here, coming on live streams and Mark Lee, Mark Lee wasn't on a live stream like this. Hello, everyone. Let's read the Bible together. I mean, y'all, he wasn't doing all that. Like, I mean, he wasn't up here with a cloth over his head talking about, let's read the Bible together. Why people would think he was in a cult, I'm like, based on what, y'all? I'm like, did he do some kind of weird live stream? No. Did he say anything strange? No. Okay. Like, I had to drink sometimes. I'm just like, and I'm looking around like thinking there's some, why would I think that there was some real evidence for people to throw out insane-ish? Why? Silly me. I apologize that, that logic is out the window when it comes to K-pop stands. BTS is on stage. Yes, K, you waiting on that live stream? You waiting on the Mark Lee cult live? I too, when it happens, I will be like, y'all, Mark Lee did this live stream, and this MFer was up here like this. Talk about woo, boogity boogity. The day that happened, I will be the first one to be like, boop, live stream. I'm like, y'all, he on live. He live right now. He live right now talking about Jesus. His spirit is in him. I said, yeah. I said, if that happens, I'll be the first one to come and live and tell y'all. Right. No actual proof. We just gonna say something. We just gonna make it up. I'm like, that's a strong thing to accuse. It is disrespectful to me, in my opinion, to accuse somebody because they're a Christian or whatever religion that they are of being in a cult with no evidence or no proof or no anything. It is very, to me, disrespectful of him as a human being, and in him being a man of faith. It is disrespectful. I am not a Christian. I don't believe in God, but I respect people's religious views. I would never call somebody calling a Christian person in a cult is strong language. And to me, it is highly disrespectful. I would never accuse somebody of being in a cult unless they've actually done cult-like things or they belong to a sect or denomination that has had history of cult-like behavior. But for me to just throw around these casual words like, oh, he's in a cult, I'm just like, that's demeaning to me, demeaning and belittling his personal religious beliefs as if they just trivial, as if it's something weird. And from what I've known, Mark Lee ain't never said or done anything religiously strange. So again, I thought it was very odd that anybody would accuse this man of being in a cult without any kind of basis of fact or belief, just because he mentioned God in the Bible and he mentioned him reading a Bible, and all suddenly people, they got freaked out about that. I every day I'm like this. What? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, why even bother apologizing, Sarah? Why? Like, why? To me, I don't understand. To me, a K-pop idol's apology should come through the agency, with the agency doing a statement like they do in the West. In the West, stars and people do not personally apologize. They have their PR teams, they have their record label, or their representative will release, their manager or agent will release a message. That's it. And that's how K-pop should do it. I would not, if I was a K-pop idol, I would not get up here and issue no apologies on a live stream, because again, Mark Lee issued an apology. I saw the apology. I believe that he didn't know what it meant. And I said either people are going to accept the apology and move on or not, or just don't be a fan of his and just move on. But the idea that now people are like, oh, well, he's not sincere and he's just trying to cater to black people. I'm like, this is exhausting. I'm like, y'all wanted an apology. He issues an apology and explanation, and y'all are like, well, he's lying, and what else? What else can he say then? Y'all want blood? Like, what else can he do? He's damned if you do and damned if you don't. So again, if I was K-pop idols, I would issue an apology through my agency, and that's it. Right, that's what I'm saying. They will end up apologizing every other day because people are always offended about nothing. They're still not satisfied. Right. Do I think it'd be wise for K-pop companies to let idols know about the sensitive issues in the country so they won't do anything offensive? I think you guys overestimate K-pop companies. I don't think K-pop companies know. Y'all, like a lot of people seem to think these K-pop agencies, they are full of people who don't know. They are full of people. Again, I tell people over and over again, K-pop companies are not diverse. Most of them are full of Koreans. And these people don't know anything. They don't know anything about multicultural issues either. They don't know either. The staff, the management don't know, the staff don't know because they only know Koreans. They are worried about the next album. They're worried about album sales. They're worried about, okay, their idols got to go here, there, everywhere. They just don't know. They don't have people in the agency in PR and marketing doing these things from what I've been told. They just don't have the people doing it. There is not any agency that I know of that has an A&R department that is very multicultural. Even Hybe does not have it. Hybe A&R is mostly Koreans. There are Korean Americans, there are people who speak English, but they don't, like, people here, Koreans here in America don't know anything. Like I said, the whole Mark Lee thing, I tell people, have you talked to Koreans? Because I have, and they don't know nothing. Koreans here in America don't know anything about black people. They don't know black people. Why would they? They barely know about the history. Americans barely know about the history here in America. I mean, I'm not letting nobody off the hook, but Americans don't know. Koreans, like, people, as a black person, I never assumed that people know about black stuff. Like, I learned that the hard way years ago when I started talking to people and realized, oh, y'all don't know nothing about black people. I told y'all before, they don't know nothing about black people. Only thing they know about black people is what they see on TV and movies and music. That's it. That's it. That's as far as there are people in Korea never met a black person, never talked to a black person. They've never met an American. They've never met anybody. I mean, the recent influx of immigrants is through the collegiate level. So yes, maybe they're kids, maybe people who are in their early 20s have been exposed, depending on where they live. You know, if they live in Seoul, then yes, in university. But even in Seoul, even if they go to school with international students, they don't mix and mingle with them a lot. A lot of times the international students and the English speakers stick to themselves, and then the Koreans and native Koreans stick to themselves. It's a separation. Even I told you I had a friend that lived in Korea and taught school there. The only people that she would hang out with were the people that were stationed there, the American GIs. They had places that they could go and hang out and the expats hung around each other. She didn't have any Korean friends. She spent 3 years in Korea and hated it. Hated it. My friend hated it. She taught in Korea for 3 years. She didn't have no Korean friends. But again, this was a long time ago. Things have changed. So this is quite a while ago. Let me say this is 10 years ago. But things have changed. But still, though, Koreans really stick to other Koreans, even in South Korea. They don't have any kind of intellectual curiosity, especially just regular people. And then people in the industry, they're too busy trying to, okay, what's the next album? What's the next promote? They good child. It's not an issue. And then culturally speaking, in South Korea, it's not an issue like it is here in America. Americans are much more sensitive about that than any place I've ever been to. In Korea, they're just not sensitive about that. They're just not because they live in a mostly homogenous country. Mostly everybody's there Korean. They Koreans don't even know their own history. A lot of them, especially the young ones. I think there's some Koreans that I know more about Korean history than some Koreans I met. I'm just like, y'all don't know. They're like, yeah, stuff we learned in school 20 years ago. But they don't learn anything about America, not too much. Not that doesn't have to do with World War One and World War Two, the Korean War, and their influx in the region. But that's it. Like American cultural things, I'm like Koreans don't have no. Just like we don't have no interest in knowing the history about Korea. People don't know about Korean history here. So they don't know about our history, nor do they care. To be honest with you, I'm just gonna keep it real. They don't care either because why would they? There ain't enough black people in Korea for them to care. Like, we're just not there in Korea. Yeah, American college students don't, you know, you get reminded every day. I get reminded all the time how much they don't know. And like I said, that was a shock to me. It really brought me down. There's an American arrogance that everybody knows about our history. I tell y'all something all the time. There is a colorism arrogance in America too. The way we look at color and race is unique to the rest of the world. I tell people all the time, that blew my mind. That blew my mind. It blew my mind that people don't see color like the way we see color. In America, there's this whole one drop rule that even if you mix, you black. I'm like, do you understand that the rest of the world don't see it like that? I would take my kids to Brazil, and they would be like, they have different words. They have moreno and mestizos. Like they have different words for different colors of people. So you get fit into a different box. My kids, if I would take my kids to Argentina, they would be like on the upper echelons of Argentinian society because my kids is light, bright, nearly white. If I take my kids to Brazil, when they went to Brazil, my kids would fit in with Brazilians. They would be a European facing Brazilian. They would look at people in Brazil looked at my kids like they were not my children. First of all, you're black. Your kids, my kids look decidedly a light-skinned Euro-facing Brazilian person. So if me and my kids would move to Brazil, they would get treated differently than I would. People would look at me as dark-skinned if they didn't hear me that I was American. Now I'm American, I get treated good. But if I would just walk around with my kids, they would not treat me the same way they would treat my children. If I go to South Africa, they're colored. They would be in a different class than me. I would be African. My kids would be colored. It's a different designation. So I learned all over the world in Latin America and everywhere that, especially the dynamic between me and my children, that wherever we go, my kids are treated differently than I am because of my darker skin. Because my kids present in a very European, even Latino kind of way, that their looks, and they get compliments because of their hair and their looks and their features, and they will be treated differently than I would. And in America, my kids are black. They go over there. I had someone tell my kids in Argentina, you're not black. They tell my kids they weren't black. I was like, I'm their mother. I was there. They were like, you're their mother? I'm like, yeah, these are my children. They were like, they're not black. And my kids could easily move to another country and not be black. That's my point. And I tripped out on that. I was like, wait a minute, they're not black? No. We went to go to the Philippines. My kids would fit in with Filipinos. They would kind of be moreno, but not really. They go to the Philippines, they would be like, hey, Filipino. My kids are multicultural. They fit in anywhere they go. My kids would be like, they go to the Philippines, they be like, moreno. Like, I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, hey, you're African, you're dark skin. Yeah, okay. I'm like, I'm American. Oh, you're American? We love Americans. I'm like, okay. As long as you're not from Africa, they're cool. As long as you're not like Congolese and Nigerian, as long as you're not from Africa, they'll find out that you're American. And they're like, oh, American. I was like, okay, here we go. It's the American privilege. Oh, American. Yeah, American. They're like, "You're not African?" No, I'm not from Africa. I'm from Texas. I'm born and raised. I'm American. FBA. They're like, "Oh, American, we love you." They're like, "As long as you're not African, they cool with you because they don't like Africans." And then, like, if I would take my kids to South Korea, I take my kids in Asian spaces, and people assume that my kids have some Asian in them. Ah, like I die all the time. Like I like everywhere we go, I'm like, okay. My kids just slide to the left, slide to the left, cha cha real smooth. Do do do. My kids cha cha slide into it are so racially ambiguous. They just slide right on in. They just fit in. Hey, hey. They like, are you part Asian? My kids are like, no, I'm not Asian. They think they are. My kids just cha cha slide, cha cha real smooth. Like I laugh about it because it's funny, but some people really get offended who have biracial children. They get really offended by that, how they're treated differently. I don't get offended because I understand that like colorism is worldwide. Like how people see how my skin color and my kids' skin color, that no matter where I go, they're always going to be the preference because and that's just something I've learned to accept. But I understood that like in America, the one drop rule is just it's an American thing. It's not an international thing. And a lot of people don't know that until they travel and they're like, oh, because I have friends that are light-skinned black people, and you go to like Czech Republic and places and they're like, you're not black. They're like, you're something else. And they're like, no, I'm black. They're like, no, you're not. Okay. They told my friend she wasn't black. I said, she's not even mixed. She's real light. And they're like, no, you're not black. I'm like, oh, okay. See, Rita Bell said because she grew up in Long Beach on the border of Compton, so everybody knew and loved was black, and they always taught you. It's a shock to go to other countries and see how they view race and colorism and how they view it is so much different than what we are here. And I think a lot of Americans they just assume that like the way they think and see color is the way everybody else see color. In a lot of places it's more cut and dry. In other places it's more complicated, just depending on their history. Because like I said, in South Africa, my kids would be colored. They would not be black children. They would be like, oh, they're colored. They're like I read the book where Trevor Noah was talking about that as well. Him growing up in South Africa and being biracial, that he is in another class than his mother. His mother is African. His dad is like Swedish. He is considered colored. He's not considered black. He's not considered Swedish. They have a whole separate classification for biracial people as quote unquote color. And they do this all over the world, especially in Latin American countries. It depends. My kids go to Dominican Republic and they would be Dominicans. They would look at them as like Dominicans if they didn't hear them speak, even though they have no Latin in them. But they would look at them as like they were light-skinned Dominicans. I would go to Haiti, they would think I was Haitian. So it just my kids would be the light-skinned elite Haitians on that side. So it's just weird when you go to other places and you're like, okay. Like people are like, no, we don't see it that way. And then you talk to people and you're like, okay, so I realize America is the outlier. So America is just effed up. They're like, yeah, it's weird there. I'm like, okay, there's a lot of room for nuance and lineage in other countries that don't really exist here. And I have to tell people that colorism is everywhere worldwide, and that it's just and in American history is a non-issue in other countries. The things that they know about America is Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Trump. Like that's what they know in other countries a lot of times. They don't know our history. They like, oh, we know black people was enslaved or something like that, but they don't know the details of every Jim Crow and everything that happened after that. They don't know like I said, people here don't even know it, but I'm a history buff, so I know it. But it's just I tell people for Americans, what trips us up is because we're not very well traveled, because we don't talk to people in other countries. We're not well traveled. I know some really well traveled international people who've been all over the place because they've had to work in different countries, and so they're very well traveled and well cultured. And I said Americans are just not very well traveled because number one, it costs a lot of money for us to travel because we pretty much on the other side of the ocean. Well, when I talk to Europeans, when I talk to people like you guys that are in England and Denmark, and Europeans are I find them to be much more cultured, and they understand because they Europeans go places. Like people in England, they're like, "Oh, we went to France on holiday. We went to France on holiday." That's my English accent. We went to France on holiday, mate. Hey, mate, we went to France and then we went to Germany and then we went to Sweden. Like they always go places because they're in close proximity. So it's not you have to give up a mortgage in your firstborn to travel places. So Europeans are much more like well traveled in different languages and cultures. Unlike here in America, where most Americans haven't left, they haven't even left their state, much less getting a passport, spending $300 on a passport and going somewhere else. Like that's a hard thing, because we're over here and we're kind of landlocked. But I wish that all Americans can travel and see how other people live and how other people do things because it's eye opening. You're like, okay, y'all ain't got to do. And I think that that's one of the problems in our society is that we don't have the income and we don't have the proximity for us to go and visit other places. And it would be nice if we could. I mean, other than just going to Cancun or Toronto. Not no shade to Canadians and Mexicans. Y'all cool, but other than those places, like it would be nice for people just to go someplace where people are different, it's exotic, and you see how people treat you, and it's just a difference. I want to go on a cruise. No, I don't want to go on a cruise ship. Hey y'all, hey. Yeah, like Europeans get to travel, yes, because they're close to each other. That's a blessing that they kind of like take for granted. I was like, you guys are so lucky, y'all can just hop on a train and take a train to a whole nother country and then another culture, another country, go visit, go stay at a hotel and then zip right back and in a couple of days. I was like, Americans, for us to travel out of the country, it is such a like, you got to get ready, you got to get prepared, you got to mentally get ready. So, it's terrible. So I just wish that people would, understand that like people in countries, other countries are very much ignorant, including idols. People give idols they give idols too much credit too. Idols are not usually not that learned, they're not that smart. Some of them have been trainees since they were 14, 15 years old, and they basically been like homeschooled or whatever. So idols are even more like less educated than I would say even than the regular Korean populace. They're focused on trying, especially the ones that have been trainees since they were younger. They are hyper focused on learning, trying to learn English, trying to do their lessons. That's their focus. Dancing, singing, vocal training like they used to have, that's their focus. And speaking of training and vocals, so let's go on to the next thing. I posted it on my YouTube about the group Tweed and the agency ABD. ABD or ADB? Is it ABD? Right, y'all? The agency that the new group Tweed, Tuide, y'all. Tweed, okay? I was pronouncing it Tootie. I said, is it Tootie? Y'all are like, no, it's Tweed. I said, oh, okay, well, it looked like Tootie or Facts of Life to me. But anyway, so the new group Tweed, they released it teasers this week. I've reposted them. They have like a little teaser thing for their music on their new album. I listened to the album. I actually like the beats. I actually like it for a girls group. They real young. They're a multicultural group. They have a really interesting new look. Good job, ABD or ADB or the Ada. And so, yeah, ABD. There you go, Goldman. Yes, most of the idols are like homeschooled children. Yes. And so ABD has so far they have had a good job, and I like the music. If you have not heard the music, go on YouTube and look up their first like little video, like Weirder Girls or Weird Tweed or whatever. Yeah, it's a multicultural group. I think two of them are from Japan, one of them is from Thailand or something. There's multicultural group. So their music actually sounds different. Okay. Good job. What gave me pause is when I read the article about the structure of the company. That gave me pause. The structure of the company, there is an executive that I think he worked for Pledis, that he's the head of ABD, and he has complete creative control. And they plan to be a kind of a girl group focused agency or offshoot subsidiary. and he has control over their look, the music, future girl groups, future trainees. And I sat there and read that, and I was like, okay. I was like, this kind of sounds like Minhee Jin. I was like, please don't let this be another Minhee Jin. Right. Hello, I know from Manila, the Philippines. So I hope this Tweed group, I'm like, please don't let this be another Minhee Jin. I can't deal with another New Jeans. I'm just like, yeah, one of the girls in the group is one of the Twice sisters. I'm like, Lord, how you talking about you? Pletus has a bad track record with girl groups? Do they? Do they? Do they? Yeah, when I read that, I had to read the article a few times, and I'm like, he has creative control over the group and the sound and the look, and I'm like, you would think Hyde would have learned the first time with this. I said, this sounds like Minhee Jin deal. Okay. I mean, he's been with Pletus. Yeah, okay, yeah. People are like, oh, it's not going to be another Minhee Jin situation. I'm like, are we sure? Because this sounds like the same deal that Minhee Jin have, where you have an executive who's ahead of this subsidiary that has all creative control and over the group. I'm just like, no, how they got to keep doing it. Pletus is kind of organic. Yes, I've heard that. Yes. Hive only cares about bringing in them checks. Lord. I'm like, here we go again. I'm just sitting there like, okay, I guess we're doing this again. I'm like, I hope it works out for Tweed and ABD and Hive. I really do. But when I start reading about executives having creative control and total control over the groups and their promotions and their marketing and their music, I get a little scared, because the Minhee Jin thing kind of got me like, wait. Because again, with the Minhee Jin, the thing that frustrated me most is how much control the Minhee Jin had over Adore. That it was great, like it was nuts. How she was involved in everything and in every part. And she controlled everything. And nobody was there to check her, to be like, wait a minute, what are we doing? And y'all know about all the contracts that Minhee Jin signed, all these sweetheart deals that Minhee Jin got for her little friends. I just keep thinking, okay, is the same thing happening with this ABD company? Is this executive over here giving sweetheart deals and long-term contracts to A&R people and photographers and stylists and music directors? Like, I'm just like, I'm like, here we go again. Is there no oversight? Because my problem with Hyde before, it was the lack of oversight. I can understand you giving a person creative control and it being organic, but somebody should be checking in going, okay, let me see these receipts. What you got here? Like, like, what are we doing? Hi, how you doing? What are we doing, ladies? Like, what's going on? Hey, executives, management team. So show me what you got. Like, what is the next steps? What's the plan? Somebody should be overlooking the process. They don't have to be micromanaging ABD, but I'm like, somebody should step in and be like, wait. And then I think about executive, the things that I heard about how much they're paying this person, about his put option. I've been hearing things that he has some really lucrative put option deal. And I'm just like, oh my God, here we go. I'm like, here we go. And I'm just like, so hopefully he'll stay loyal and won't flip the strip and be like, hey, I got these girl groups and we're successful. Hey, we're out of here. I think how, yes, that they want to dump the responsibility on one person. Just like, yeah, you got it. Yeah, the girl groups is the issue. They the boy groups, they didn't. You talking about loyal. It is, Sarah, it is. So I'm just like, okay. It's like, are we doing this again? In 2-3 years from now, we're going to hear about, we're going to see like, there's problems at ABD, y'all, I swear to God, on God, I'm marking it right now. 2 or 3 years from now, if we start seeing problems, I'm going to come on the live stream. I'm just going to be like this. I'll be like, I told y'all, Here we go again, y'all. Because I don't think I can go through another New Jeans scenario. I don't think I can go through another trial or court case or scandal. Hive does not need any more corporate scandals, y'all. Please, for the love of God and everything holy, we don't need no more corporate scandals or rumors or shakeups or rumors. We don't know. We don't need anyone going rogue. Okay, like I do not want to hear 2, 3 years from now that there is something funny with the money. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear about no blackmailing, no shakedowns. You know, things are a little funny with the finances. I don't want to hear about ABD going broke. I don't want to hear about no operating finances getting a little thin. I don't want to hear about nobody embezzling no money or nothing. I don't want to hear any. I'm just going to sit here and be like, come on now, Hype. Come on. I'll be like, please, Hype, please. I'm begging Hype. Please don't do this again. Please. I don't want to hear nothing in years. Korean society is very misogynist and ageist. Yes, very much so. Yeah, very colorist. I was watching a document, not a documentary, but videos where they were talking about in Korea that they had these bars and clubs where it was like no Filipinos allowed. I was like, what? Yeah, they were like, no Filipinos allowed. I was like, are you serious? It was serious. Like they had like this thing where like they had this sign, they were like, no Filipinos, no people over a certain age, like no people over the age of like 30 or 40. And I was like, I said, dang. And then they were talking about like the Filipinos online were complaining about it and was like, like what the hell? Because there's classism, there's colorism, there's all kinds of isms, any ism you name behind it. Cause it's all kind of isms. I didn't know there was like an English ism, by the way, English ism. I said that's new. That's new. They were talking about like Filipino teachers in Korea that they are like saying that the Filipino teachers are less intelligent, that they can't speak English. I'm like, Filipinos speak English. What are y'all talking about? I was like, this is what I'm watching. So y'all know the stuff I be watching. I watch this kind of stuff all the time, and I'll just be like, because I'm not surprised, that Korean society. But yes, it is very misogynistic, and the executive is a dude. But still, though, the fact that he is given like keys to the kingdom, I better not. Like I said, I better not. I better not hear one damn issue, not one, or I'm gonna lose it. And I'll be like, are we gonna go through this again? How many times can Hyde make the same mistake over and over and over and over again? I just hope not. But I just have a sinking feeling that something is going to go wrong, that there is going to be some problem in something, and it's going to end up being a scandal. And I mean, they're going to hold a press conference. Yes, yes, they were saying that Koreans don't like Filipinos because Filipinos speak English. Yep, a lot better than they do. Three times. Many said 3 times. They got to learn 3 times. 3 times, not once, not twice. 3 times. Maybe after the third or the fourth, they'd be like, "Well, maybe we should switch some things up." This is just, and so I'm just putting it out there, y'all. I don't want anything to happen to this group. They seem like a bunch of lovely young girls. I'm just saying, I can't go through another Hive corporate scandal. It's exhausting going through this. And speaking of Hive corporate scandals, I did a story about Bong PD and that equities group. That now they're hemming this equities group up to get documents, and they froze their assets, and they already froze Bong PD's assets. And so now the equity company that they used to buy the shares from the investors for Hive, now they finally, I guess because they can't find anything on Bong PD, I guess they think if they go through this equity firm, they're going to find something. I'm just like, I hope the new CEO is loyal too. But I don't have no faith, because when people get in situations where money exchange hands and power, money and power corrupts people, and people that seem on the up and up and well-meaning end up doing things, or sometimes not them. They're surrounded by people who end up doing things that bring down the whole company, that tarnish the image of the whole company. Because when money starts rolling in, and let's just say this group tweet gets to be very popular, when money starts rolling in, that's when things get funny. That's when people start acting strange. Oh, we're a successful group, and then egos show up. Then people start being egotistical, and then people start being greedy. So people may not start out that way, but power and money is so corrosive. It's so corruptive. And then, like I said, if they get a lot of success and they have two successful girl groups, then sometimes people feel like they have leverage, corporate leverage. I don't know why they won't leave Bong PD alone. I don't know. Like I said, they're hemming up this. I mean, it's been over 18 months now. I'm tired. Like I said, I'm tired, y'all. I'm like, hi, please, I'm begging you. I'm tired. Dear Hive, please, the corporate, I'm just tired. I'm tired of the Bong PD. I'm tired of the Danielle lawsuit and the I'm tired. I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm just tired. I can't do any more corporate intrigue stories. I'm tired. Yeah, they got to find something. They ain't found nothing so far. They ain't arrested Bong PD. They just froze his money and. So hopefully, I don't know if this is gonna take another 18 months to investigate the securities department in Korea. I don't know if they're gonna take another 18 months to investigate. I was like, I can't do another 18 months of this, even though nothing has really happened. But still, though, like, this affects the high stock and the high, investors, all of that, all of these type of things affects Hive with their investors and their foreign investors and their domestic ones as well. So I just don't, this corporate drama, it'd be good if it was like over, but like the New Jeans things have been going on for like 2 years now. And then the Bong PD IPO thing has been going on for almost 2 years. And I'm just like, I just wanted to be done with it. If they're going to find Bong PD or something guilty and fine him or put him in prison, I'm all for it. I'm like, let's go. Let's just go ahead and wrap this up real quick. I'm ready to wrap. Not that I believe Bong PD deserves to be in jail. I don't. But I'm just ready to be like, either drop the case and move on, or what are we doing? Because this is silly. This is silly now. Yeah, they don't like Bong PD. I said, I don't know what Bong PD did to people, but whatever he did, I don't know, y'all. I don't know what Bong PD did. I'm just like, whatever it is. I'm like, damn, apologizing. Can we move on? Can you say you sorry? Can you pay somebody off? Can you send somebody a fruit basket for the love of God and everything holy? Send somebody a $300 fruit basket, something. Whatever bribes you got to pay Bong PD. I'm like, maybe you need to pay them people off. I'm like, I don't know, And Minnie Jen out here about to start her boy group. Minnie Jen ain't worried about none of y'all. Minnie Jen's like, I'm living my best Minnie Jen life right now. I agree that as soon as the New Jeans, Minnie Jen stuff, court cases are over, then they'll probably drop the case. Yeah. That they hate Bong PD. Yeah. Whew, Lord. Yeah, he it is jealousy. He got too big, too much, too many foreign investors. Everybody else ain't got their piece of the pie in Korea. So I just heard that some people are just, and then it's just plain old jealousy, that too. The green monster. And jealousy. There's just a lot of jealousy in just in the entertainment. It's competitive in the entertainment industry right now. So speaking of that, speaking competitiveness, me and Jennifer were talking about, I won't let it go, y'all. The phenomenon. I will not let it go. I will not let y'all forget that JYP Opa said it's going to be the K-pop Coachella. I won't, every week I'm going to come on here and report some news. So there was a story in Korean media about Phenomenon, and they were asking the question, what exactly does being a K-pop Coachella mean? Because when they started looking into Phenomenon, it just sounds like a regular festival with just satellite locations. So in other words, what makes the proposed Phenomenon different than KCON? Because I was reading this article and I'm like, okay, that sounds like KCON. That sounds like any other festival that they have in other countries and in Korea. JY Poppy, we trust? Yes, don't call me JY Poppy. I'm going to make you wet. Body rolls, wet. Just call me JY Poppy. Y'all know I love JY Poppy, yes. But I don't understand. People are saying, how is this a K-pop Coachella? Because Coachella is very different. Coachella has been around for a long time. Coachella does things differently than KCON or a K-pop festival. The way that they describe phenomenon, besides giving awards to fandoms, how is this like Coachella? Because Coachella is a whole vibe and a mood, and it's art and it's music, and all kinds of people come to see all different kinds of artists, not just one genre of music. So how is phenomenon going to be like Coachella? KCON is not in Asia. Okay, KCON is not in Asia. Okay, well, they in the article they were comparing it to KCON and other festivals. But how is phenomenon besides giving awards to fandoms? That's wild to me. Oh, you thought K-pop is Japan too? I don't know enough about K-pop. Yeah, JYP don't know what Coachella means. Yeah, I think that JYP and the cultural minister is trying to sell it that way. I think by naming it the K-pop Coachella, then people automatically, like foreigners and investors, are like, "Oh, okay, so this is a big thing," you know. Yeah, they just want to compare it to something similar. But people are saying that like this is kind of like the big hope for K-pop. And I have serious criticisms. I did a whole T video where I broke down that people in the industry have their own reservations and criticisms, a lot in the industry. That people in the industry, from what I've been told, are not excited about this. That some people in the industry are like, okay, who gonna pay for all of this? Okay, number one. Okay, so who's paying? That's the biggest concern. Are we splitting the costs? And then some of the agencies on the cool. Okay, let's this a little tea because I find this phenomenon thing. Some of the agencies are like, why are we splitting the cost when some of our groups are premier groups? Why do we have to split the cost? Everybody damn well know that if BTS be there, who gonna bring all the people? Stray Kids, BTS, Twice, maybe Blackpink be there. So again, if people are going to split the cost, in which way are they going to split the cost? Because if you have these top tier groups that are going to be there and they're going to bring the majority of the people, their idea is, okay, so why am I splitting the cost too? It's our groups that are going to bring the most revenue and the most people. If our groups aren't in it, y'all are not going to make as much money. So why do we have to split the cost evenly when all of the agencies don't have groups that are on the same level? Some groups are just going to bring more people than others. Stray Kids and BTS, if they're there, is going to bring in a lot more people to it than, I don't know, name any other boy group out there. Like AT's KQ Entertainment. AT's will bring all the boys to the yard. Stray Kids, BTS, Twice, Red Velvet. If you have these premier Cat's Eye, these groups are going to bring a lot of people. But then then they're like, well, how are we going to split the cost when we bringing in most of the people? Isn't that kind of like not fair? They're like, the smaller agencies should foot a little bit more of the cost because their groups are going to get a bigger bump on the backs of bigger groups. But I heard that they don't want to do it that way. So the agencies that are making the most money are being asked to foot the most money besides the Korean government. Who are they expecting to show up? Everybody. Liza, everybody. That's why I said they should do tiered costs. Give us nothing, Jenny. Give us nothing. I saw that video. Give us nothing, Jenny. Give us nothing. I said, Jenny out there giving y'all nothing. So that's what I'm saying. So some of the other groups are like, some of the other agencies, especially the bigger one, like Hive, is like, wait a minute. it's enough cost for them to get their groups to these satellite locations. That's another thing. Who's going to pay for the flights? Who's going to pay for the hotels? Who's going to pay for the food? Who's going to pay for the staff? Are the agencies expecting to pay for all of this? Are they going to be reimbursed for some of those costs? Or are they just going to have to come out their own pocket to go to these satellite locations? That's a lot of money. You're basically asking the agencies to basically do a mini tour. Mini tours cost money. So how much are they going to charge for tickets? How much are the agencies going to get back in revenue? That's an issue. If you're going to have BTS there, BTS expecting BTS appearance fees and prices, which could be, depending on how long they perform and where they go, we're talking about $100,000. So they were like, okay, how does like, okay, so somebody gonna pay us back, or our artists have fees? Who gonna pay for these fees? Who gonna fly them there? Who gonna pay for it? Yeah, there's a lot of logistics. Yeah, Starship and Cube, they're saying there should be tier costs, but then some of the agencies are like, I don't know. There's a lot to work out, and I have a sense of feeling that some people within the industry are very skeptical and disappointed because they feel like these things haven't been thought thought through. And then they're talking about the first performances being next year. And people are like, how is this going to work? So they're already trying to book things and schedule things now without like all the logistics worked out. They were like, wait a minute, there's things that need to be worked out. So some people are just starting to see this as like a hot mess, an unorganized hot mess. And then people are like, well, how many fans are expected to be there? What about accommodations? How much room are you going to have in these venues if a whole bunch of people show up that they didn't bargain? Because they have to estimate what the crowds are going to be, and they really don't know because this will be the first year. So people are like, the crowds could be really massive, or the crowds could be really low, or it could be just right. But you don't really know because they've never done anything like this before. We've never had. So all they can do is go by estimates. But then they're like, well, what happened if there's too many people and people can't get in the venue? What if the same shit that happened in Busan happens at one of these satellite venues where people can't get in? Transportation is down. Then they have to work within the city. So again, a lot of people are in these industries are like, we don't want another Busan situation where people are complaining and people couldn't get in the venue, and people like, nobody wants a situation where the groups are and the agencies are going to be embarrassed, where fans are going to be upset, fans are going to be hurt, fans are going to drag the event. Nobody wants that. But if it's not planned right from the beginning to end and all the way down to the details, then, you're looking at something that could possibly ruin the reputation of agencies and the event itself. BTS is going to be like, sorry, we're busy. I don't know if BTS is going to be there. That's what I'm saying. Are they expecting it to be like a free performance like music shows? No, they are saying that these satellite locations that the fans are going to have to pay to get in, right? So the fans are going to pay a fee to get in to this all day festival like they do with Coachella. So I guess they pay for the weekend or for the day. But even Coachella isn't perfect. Coachella has had issues and controversies over the years too. And then Coachella took many years, and Coachella has brand recognition. They have all these branding deals and stuff that Coachella has cultivated over the years. So people are asking the question, well, what about the sponsors? What about, how much are the sponsors are going to be willing to fork in and pay when you have all these groups there and everything like that? So the sponsors and the advertisers, that's another issue. I agree. 2027, December 2027 is too early for me. I think they need to back it up to 2028. And they may come out and announce and be like, okay, we're going to push it up a little bit. KCON is not too good either. Oh, really? I don't know anyone's been to KCON. I don't know a lot about KCON. I just know the people that perform there every year. Like, I hear about the announcements. But yeah, I was like, there need to be, yes, it's starting to sound out like this is just a money grab. The other part about it is, for me personally, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't like the fact that K-pop now, the market is oversaturated and these K-pop agencies are spending a lot of money. Inflation is high in South Korea. Inflation is high everywhere. It costs anywhere between $1 to $5 million to start a group. And now the thing in South Korea right now in the industry is if your group don't go viral or blow up within the first 6 months, then the agency is looking at the group side eye. Then they want to scrap them. Then they want to put them on the shelves. If they don't come out the gate swinging and making money, whether it be branding deals, album sales, building momentum online, again, there's so much pressure on these new groups to succeed that the industry didn't used to be like this. And so now you have groups like we talked about the Blue Ocean, about these groups not selling venues, these groups going to North America, Europe, and Canada, and they are not selling. We've had a bunch of groups in the past 6 months cancel tour dates and locations because they are not selling. And then they're wondering like what's going on because the market is oversaturated. Again, inflation is high everywhere. People don't have the disposable income in America, so people are being very choosy as to what concerts they go to. They can't be going to 2 and 3 and 4, 5 concerts a year. Most people are going to go to one group, one concert, and that's it because concert tickets is high. Okay. So in order to remedy this, they decided to do this phenomenon thing where they'll have all these groups on quote unquote tour, kind of, in different locations and in Korea where these groups can perform and make money. And it sounds good in theory, but I'm like, they would fix their problem if they would stop green lighting so many damn groups. There are new groups coming out. I tell you all the time, every week there's a new group. Every week I watch and I'm like, I can't even, it's to the point where y'all, I used to keep up with the new groups. It's to the point where I can't even keep up anymore. There are literally new groups every week that I have never heard of that are all scrambling for a piece of the K-pop pie and in various degrees of success. We can't compare the third and fourth and fifth generation. Yeah, things have changed. The industry, it's already changed. You know, yeah, the government gives them tax breaks. Yep. And some companies, a lot of companies have been taking advantage of that. Some of these companies, I'm just going to be honest, the things that I've heard are outright scams. Like there's parameters and rules with the cultural ministry. You know, they have to register the agency and they have to have an active group or building an active group. Some of these companies are just scams, y'all. The things that I've heard, some of these companies are started by unscrupulous people that take these tax breaks and this money and they fund it to other businesses. They fund it to their own pockets. Some of these agencies are just scams. They promise these young people and then nothing ever works out. And then these young people are out here singing and not getting paid because they have to quote unquote pay the agency back. And then they end up getting disbanded before they're supposed to start getting payments. And all of the money has gone to the agency. So some of these agencies just start out being like kind of scammy, you know. Yeah. They use the tax breaks to fund it to their other companies. You're correct. Yes. The things that I've heard about is like money embezzlement. It's scammy. Tell me the big four just need to do their own individual con and whichever does the best. Right. Oh, really? Ah. I just like some of these companies are just unscrupulous. There have been groups that have been on hiatus for years. It's a hot mess out there, y'all. It's just a hot mess. Yeah, I can't keep. I used to be able to I used to try to keep up with it. Now I'm just like, I was telling Jennifer today. I asked her, I said, have you heard of Chaser? She like, no. I said, have you heard of Be the Hood? She said, no. I said, have you heard of like, what is it? At Heart or whatever? She like, no. I said, what about Our Birthday? She like, who? She like, what is that? She's like, who are these groups? I'm like, girl, they just, yeah, Hive does have the Weavers Con. That's like, there's just so many groups that I'm just like, every week I'm just like, who is this? Who? I'm like, oh, is this a new one? And then they all end up running together. I'm just like, I'm like, I can't keep up anymore. I love X Love. That's my group right there. I've given up. I used to try to keep up with them every week. It's to the point where I just can't keep it anymore. I don't know who ANDPF. I don't know who these people are. Like some of them, the names I can't even pronounce. Some of them are like, it's like 6342XQ exclamation point. I'm like, what the hell is that? What does that mean? I just give up. I'm just like, I can't pronounce these groups' names no more. I'm like, BTS is the only reason you're into, a lot of armies say that they don't like K-pop. What? I'm serious. It'd be like B48373-12. I'm like, who? I'm like, what does that mean? What does it mean? I'm like, what? How do you pronounce that? Like, I don't know. It's pronounced flower. What? Wait, what? You follow the Are You Next girls, and of course, Eyelid, yeah. I'm just like, girl, I don't know what F-3S2-12-R. I'm like, what does that mean? Flower, Kiki, it means flower. Oh, I guess, like, I don't know what that means really, but okay, like, right, I'm ready for the Morse code. I'm like, can I get a translation? What is this? Is this coordinates or what is this? I'm like, I mean, these groups, I can't pronounce their names. I don't know how to pronounce their names. I mean, tell me you would have left K-pop and one for. I enjoy other groups, but just not a lot. But I hear a lot of people say that they would have left K-pop alone if it wasn't for BTS. Or I have people that don't like K-pop, but they like BTS. They don't like other Korean groups that they've tried, and they just like, I just can't do it. I was like, you know what? I understand. They said that other K-pop groups is they different than BTS, and it's just not for them. And I understand. I understand that. BTS is doing something different than what quote unquote K-pop Korean K-pop groups are doing. So yeah, I talked about that. I will always bring up Phenomenon because I'm just like, okay, well, this is another endeavor. We'll see how it does. If they can pull this off, it will be a good chance for smaller groups to get exposure. But again, I don't know how. And then they're talking about fans coming to South Korea and attending these festivals from all over the world. I just don't know, again, how much disposable income all of these people are coming for like a 2, 3 day, 4 day fan festival. I just don't know, because they have that new stadium opening up next year. So they're trying to coincide it with that brand new pretty stadium they opening up. And I just like, okay, that's great. But I'm just like, like you're banking on people coming to South Korea, then they're going to have to provide some travel packages or something for the people. I don't know if they're going to do that. That would be on my wish list. Again, if you want people to come to these festivals and concerts, then I need y'all to institute some travel packages for people all over, not just the people from the US, from everywhere. There need to be K-pop travel packages. I've said this over and over again. Nobody listens to me. I said if they had a K-pop travel package, I would be on it. I would be on it so quick. That's the part about traveling to South Korea that is cumbersome, is the fact that, like, I think there needs to be more travel packages. There need to be more group discounts. There need to be more group travels, period. Flight discounts. It's expensive to fly right now anywhere, but especially to South Korea. Fuel prices is high, y'all. They didn't jacked up the flight tickets really, really high. So for people who are traveling, it would be nice to have some kind of a relief, yes, to have an incentive. Yes, and yes, the agencies can coordinate with travel, make their own travel club. If they don't want to do a travel club, they don't want to make their own and do all that. They can work in conjunction with other travel agencies and travel groups and travel clubs and make it fun. Make it fun. Make it a whole tour. So not only are you going to Phenomenon, but you got food, tour, put it in a whole package. I like packages. I don't like booking my own hotels. I don't like booking my flights. I don't like booking my food. I am a very bougie ass traveler. When I travel, I want everything planned for me, and just let me throw my money at it. Just let me throw money at it, and I want somebody else to plan it. I'm saying, somebody who speaks the language, somebody who, all of that can be done on the other end. That's the only part about traveling I don't like. Jennifer knows that. If Jennifer was here, she'd tell you that I just like to show up. Girl, just tell me what gate we at, what time, and what day. That's all I want to know. What gate, what airline, what time, and what day. What time I gotta be there? She'd be like, okay, be here at 6. Okay. Which gate again? Gate D, American Airlines. Okay. That's it. What day again? It's gonna be on this. Okay, that's it. That's all I want to know. Traveling with me is horrific because I don't want to know nothing. I don't like planning nothing. Just here I come dragging my suitcase promptly. I'm on time. I'm promptly on time at 6 a.m. I will show up a little earlier. I'll be like, hey, hey. That's all I want to know. I don't even want to see the tickets. Well, here's your ticket. No, I'm good. You hang on to that. I'm good. I'm gonna sit down over here. I'm gonna sit down. Give me some water. I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll come back. Okay, that's all I want to do. I don't want to do nothing else. I just want somebody to be like, be here this day, this time, this gate, and this plane. They want to get up there and call my gate. Gate 5, gate 5. Gate D, gate 5, seats 8 through 10. I'm like, oh, here I come. That's me. That's all I want to do. And when I get off the plane, I don't want to get no taxi and no Uber. I don't want to do none of that. I want a car there with somebody hold up a sign that says Kiki on it. And I want somebody to take me to the hotel. And that's it. I don't want to do nothing else. I order room service. Yeah, I'll do that on the app. I'll do that. I want somebody to pick me up or a van or something. Just tell me where the van is at. Girl is out front by gate D. I want it to be out front. I walk out front and then it'd be van number 20. And I walk and then I'll be like van number 20. And then I wanted to drop me off at the hotel. And I want to order food and that's it. I don't want to do nothing else. I don't want to do nothing else. And then I want an itinerary. And I want somebody, I want to look at my itinerary and be like, oh, the tour guide will be there at 10 a.m. the next morning. Okay, he'll be waiting for you in the lobby. Okay, great. I'm going to get up at 8 a.m. and be down there in the lobby by 10, waiting for my tour guide with his bus. That's it. And I want to get on the bus and be like, oh, look at all the tourist stuff. This is so cool. I don't want to plan nothing. I'm a bougie traveler. I don't like planning. Planning trips is not is Jennifer's strong suit, not mine. Jennifer's good at it. She's a pro. I just look at her and be like, what kind of hotel? I don't know. She was like, Keisha, really? I don't know. What hotel? I just need a bed. I don't really. So traveling with me, you will get no help from me. It's like, oh God, it's like dealing with a child. And then for me to travel with my kids where I got to do everything, I hate it. I was just like, oh, I hate it. So yes, I would like to have a travel plan where everything is planned out and I will travel to South Korea and I will go on some kind of K-pop tour and I'll go to Phenomenon and just pick me up and then I'll tell me what plane I got to get on to get back home and then that's it. That's it. See, Arlene says she wants to sing. Did we miss the concert talk? No, I haven't talked about the concert yet. I'm finna talk about it. I'm finna talk about the concert. But yes, that's what, so for Phenomenon, I don't know. But again, whenever they come out with the travel plan, your girl will be there. I will be live. I'll be like live from South Korea. I'm at Phenomenon, everybody. Be like, hey. Y'all be like, oh, she made it. Yeah, she was on that. She was on that travel package. I'm like, yeah, that's the only way I'm going there. Because other than that, everything else is painful for me to, you know. So here we go. So speaking of concerts, BTS concert. I have a concert vlog that will be dropping on Monday for everybody else. I will have a recap on Tuesday where I recap my experiences and I just go over some things of what happened. And then I also have a video coming up on Wednesday where I talk about my 2-year anniversary being Army, because this is my 2-year anniversary. And I have some really interesting things to say. The members, y'all seen the videos. I don't think I was that harsh. This is my first BTS concert. I've been to many other concerts. I have a whole playlist that is underneath vlogs and destinations where I put all my concert videos and stuff like that. Well, I went to go see Jin last year. That's the only BTS member I've seen. We went to go see Jin last year, and me and Jennifer had a really good time. The concert, Arlington, Texas. It was very hot. Okay, let me back up. And I'm going to say this again, and I say it in the video as well. 2 or 3 days before this concert, I started not feeling good. I have a history of gastrointestinal issues that flare up. I think they said that I like it is a version, a form of IBS. I don't know what starts this. It could be stress related. I had a very stressful week because of work, my real work. And so I started to feel sick. So the concert's on Sunday. Friday come along and I don't feel good. So I'm not feeling good. My kids are like, "Are you not feeling good?" I just stopped. So in order for me for keep myself from being sick, I just stopped eating. So I just stopped eating. Okay. Because every time I would eat, I would get sick. So I just stopped eating. Friday, I'm just like, I'm scared to eat because I don't like being sick. So I just stopped eating. Saturday come, my kids wanted to go see that dinosaur movie, what the end of Oak Street. In the Oak Street that whole day Saturday, I'm literally driving like this. I'm tired because I hadn't eaten anything and I'm scared to eat. So my kids, they have candy. I eat some of my son's gummy worm and I get sick. I have indigestion. I have heartburn over gummy worms. Yes, gummy worms. Okay. When you have indigestion over gummy worms, it's time to just mail it in. You just be like, oh, it's a wrap for me. You get your blanket and you cover up and you just be like, good night, good night. You chunk the deuce on it. And you're like, good night, life. And you just go to bed. Like I had heartburn over gummy worms. So I'm trying to eat something like I'm trying soups. I'm trying fitness bar. I'm trying anything. I'm trying protein shakes because I'm like, for the love of God and everything that is holy, if I don't make it to this effing concert, I'm going to cry. Okay. I am literally going to be upset. So really, it goes back further than that. I started getting sick really that Tuesday, and it just kind of like, and then there's a whole thing with my tickets, which that will be a story for tomorrow. There's a live stream, there's a Q&A live stream tomorrow. You guys can ask me anything. So Saturday come, and like, I'm like this in the movie theater. My kids are like, my son is like, do I need to drive, Mom? I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm in the theater. I'm like sick. I'm like nauseous. I'm just sitting there like this. The movie was good. The end of Oak Street, by the way, was good. Very interesting ending. But I'm like, my stomach is hurting. And I'm just like, I have heartburn. I come home and I have stomach meds. I'm taking stomach meds. I tell myself, I'm like, okay, get it together. Okay. I'm like, please, for the love of God, get this shit together. I go to bed really late. I'm trying to sleep. I go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was trying to switch over my phone. I didn't do it. Come Sunday morning, I wake up and I'm just like, okay. I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, girl, get it together. I was like, we can do this. And so I hadn't told Jennifer because I didn't want to tell her. Because I was like, should I tell Jennifer I'm sick? I didn't tell Jennifer I'm sick. Come Sunday morning, I'm like, so I'm trying to eat eggs. It don't go over well. I'm trying to eat bread, anything, rice, anything. Everything's not going up. So in my mind, again, when I'm feeling sick, I just don't eat. But I was like, I got to eat something. Okay. So in my vlog, you will see me outside of a Taco Bell or a Wendy's, and I couldn't decide which one to go to. And I'm like, I got to eat something. Jennifer tells me, she's text messaging me, have you eaten today? And I'm like, no. It is 12 o'clock. This concert starts at 8. I need to be at her house by 4:45. It is 12:30. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna grab something like some tortillas, some chips, something I eat that. I go home and you see in my video, I'm starting to get ready. I get all glammed up. I get my hair and makeup. Stomach issues been going on for years. It wasn't surprising. Thank you. Here comes Jennifer. So I get all glammed up. The moment I put my clothes on, I'm sweating. Like I'm sweating. And I'm just sitting there like, okay. So again, I don't tell Jennifer because I don't want her to worry. And I don't want to ruin the experience. So I have to be at Jennifer's house by 4:45. I did not make it because I'm literally dry heaving. At 4:30, like I was going to leave the house and I have to stop. I have to sit down. I drink some water. My stomach's like, girl. I'm like literally just like dry heaving. I'm like vomiting. I'm like, bleh. I'm like, oh, I was like, Jennifer, I'm going to be late. So I'll tell Jennifer I'm going to be late. I get there. It's like, I don't know, 5 something. So before I go to Jennifer's house, like I can feel like the shakes, like because I haven't eaten. So I was like, I need sugar. I need some. I stop at Jack in the Box and I get a shake, an Oreo shake. I show up, and then I have to park way on the other side because Jennifer's parking lot is mostly reserved parking for residents. I park on the other side. I'm sweating. I'm sweating like a hooker in church. Like I'm literally sweating, and I don't sweat. And I'm drinking this shake, and I'm like, and then I show up, and I'm like, hey, hey, and I'm drinking this shake, and Jennifer's like, I said, sorry, I'm late. I was texting her. I was like, Jennifer, I'm running late. I'm running late. And I get there, and I'm like, okay, just let me be honest. And she's like, uh-huh. I was like, look, I don't feel good, but I'm drinking a shake and we'll see how this goes. And she's just like, what? I was like, I took my meds. So I'm drinking a shake and I'm like, look, okay, be honest. Tell some realism. I was like, I don't feel good, but I'm going to this concert and I don't care. Okay. So I was determined to make it. So we drive there. Everything's good. Jennifer finds this really awesome place to park at this church and we pay, and then we have to walk. As I'm walking, my stomach's like gurgle, gurgle. I'm like, we're walking, it's hot. Okay. I got leather pants on, bitch, because I am that G. I am that one that wore leather pants and it's like 110 degrees and I'm walking and my thighs are on fire. Like, as a matter of fact, was pretty sure I was going to start a fire with my leather coated thighs. My leather pants are sticking to me. At this point, it feels like liquid rubber. Like I feel like my pants are melting into my skin, but I don't say anything because your mama my mama ain't raised no quitter. Okay, I ain't no quitter. I told y'all, I ain't no quitter. So I'm sweating. Everything's sweating. Jennifer is literally looking back at me like, I see the look on her face of concern. I'm walking. She's like, you good? I was like, I'm good, girl. I'm walking. I'm filming as I'm walking. Okay. I'm walking and I'm filming. I'm filming and I'm walking. Jennifer's like, okay. There's one part I had to stop. And I told Jennifer, I said, well, I got to stop. Jennifer's like, okay. So we move over to the shade and I'm sitting there breathing hard. And I'm like, I'm either going to pass out and vomit or both. And I don't want to pass out in my vomit because that would not be a good look. I'm like, I am looking cute. I got makeup on. I got my Yoongi shirt on. Not granted, my pants are melting into my skin, but damn it, I'm going to make it through this concert. And I told Jennifer, I was like, I don't care if you got to carry me. I don't care if you're going to drag me. Drag me to my seat. I don't care if you drag me by my arm. I don't care what you got to do. So I'm like, I stop, I take a breather. Jennifer's like, are you okay? And she's like, do you need some water? I was like, I'm good. We're good. And so we're walking and walking. And when we start walking and walking again, I felt like this was Lord of the Rings. And we're like making it to Mordor. Mordor. I feel like we were Frodo. We were Frodo and Sam. I feel like we were on a mission. Okay. I had the ring of power. And I had to deliver it into the mountain, y'all. That's how strongly I felt. I was like, we got to do this. I'm walking. I'm hot. I'm sweating. I'm really hot. Like everything is sweating. My whole body is sweating. My palms are sweaty. Everything's sweaty. Jennifer just keeps looking at me like, you okay? Like she's looking at me like, she probably thinking if she drops here, I don't. But y'all, I made it. We made it. Yes. Mordor. Yeah, Jennifer's like, get in the shade. Rest. She's like, oh my God. It was a long walk. The stadium is huge. We get in the stadium. There is a mass sea of people, just people everywhere. People. I'm just like, first of all, I don't like that many people anyway. But then I'm sweating. And then my stomach is gurgling. And I'm just like, I shouldn't have ate that shake. But I was like, I'm going to hold it together. Because again, my mama didn't raise no quitter. Okay. I'm like, ain't quit up in here. And I'm not a whiner and complainer. So we finally get to the seat and I sit there and I'm like, and then Jennifer has a portable fan. And it's so hot in this stadium. I don't know if they had the AC down, but like Jennifer had got this portable fan and she's like, and I'm like, and Jennifer like, you okay? I'm like, I'm like sweating and I don't ever, and like I said, I don't ever sweat. I've never sweat that much in my life. And I've been out in the sun. I've been to Six Flags. I've been in amusement parks. I was sweating because I wasn't feeling good. And so then I take video. You can see it in the video. I took video of me in the crowd like before we got started, and you could see me looking bleary-eyed. Like when I went back and watched the footage, I was like, okay. Like to see me is you can tell like you can tell that I'm sick. Like my eyes look watery and I look a little unstable in this video. But I was like, I'm gonna get this footage, I'm gonna get this video. Your mama didn't raise no quitter. The AC was on, yeah, there was just too many bodies. It was so hot. It was so hot. And Jennifer, once again, is like, got the fan on me. She's just like, And then I told Jennifer I have to go to the bathroom. The bathroom is hotter than the we must have been outside. We're standing in line in the bathroom, a long, long line. Jennifer, I don't know if Jennifer even used the bathroom. By the time we stood in line, to be honest with you, I don't even remember using the bathroom. I mean, I don't remember standing in line. I remember getting in the bathroom and literally like I'm in the bathroom, I walk in the bathroom, and then I remember like I was like, okay, I pull my pants down, my pants won't come down. You did not, you didn't use the bathroom. Jennifer came to the bathroom with me because I promise you, when I went to the bathroom, I probably was like this. I was like, Jennifer, I gotta go to the bathroom. She probably was like, okay, girl. Because Jennifer, yes, she didn't use the bathroom. I remember that. But she stood in line with me because by the time I went to the bathroom, I felt so sick. And I didn't say anything. I just got, when I'm sick, I get real quiet. So I don't talk a lot. And Jennifer was just looking at, once again, the whole entire time, Jennifer was looking at me like, oh, shit. She like, look, I had to call her kids. Just Jennifer's like, and I told Jennifer, I was like, look, even if I pass away at this concert, just tell the kids that I died doing something that I love. Like I was here doing what I love. It's what I love. And Jennifer's like in the bathroom, she's standing next to me, and I'm just sweating. Like I'm like sweating, my makeup sweating, my hair sweating, everything's sweating. Okay. I get in the bathroom and I'm like, okay, get back. I can't pull my pants down. I'm literally in the bathroom. It's hilarious. I didn't tell Jennifer. I'm going. I'm in the bathroom. I'm like, oh my God. Like I couldn't get, y'all, I couldn't get my pants off. My pants had literally stuck to me because I was sweating. My legs were sweating. My calves were sweating. Everything was sweating in his pants. I'm in the bathroom. I'm like, I'm sitting on the toilet with pants. I'm sitting on the toilet like, I'm sitting on the toilet fighting with the pants, trying to get the pants down. Oh, I was literally like, God, I'm trying to get him down. I'm trying to ease him down. I'm trying to shimmy him down like this. I was like, okay, Keisha. So I had to like start rolling them down. So I rolled them down and I'm trying to pull them down. Like I was like, oh my God. They were like literally stuck to my thighs. So I had to pull like one thigh out at a time. When I get my pants down, literally all I feel is wet. I feel like somebody threw a bucket of water on me. My legs are wet, my thighs are wet, soaking wet. And I'm looking like, okay. Like me in the bathroom, let me tell y'all something. Me in a public bathroom, it's like public bathroom 30, Kiki 0. Jennifer knows that I have had some of the craziest things happen to me in a public restroom. I have slipped in pee. I have fell in vomit. I have had toilet paper rolled to the other stall when I'm trying to use the bathroom. I've had people hit on me in the bathroom. Like weird things have always happened to me in public bathrooms. So I'm literally sitting like I'm like sitting trying to sit on the toilet and it's slippery because I am wet everywhere. You're really wet and you take the pants off, then like the air hits you. And it's like the most uncomfortable feeling because I realize my pants are soaking wet, but I have to pull them back on. So I'm just sitting there like, okay, I got to pull these wet pants back over my legs and my thighs. But for the love of God, my mama didn't raise no quitter. So I was like, come on, girl, get these pants on. And I rolled these pants up and I pulled them up and I was like, I feel like I am soaking in a wet balloon, but God knows we're going to fight through it. So I fought through that. And then, so me being in a sea of mass of people brings my social anxiety. So I tell Jennifer's like, okay, I got to get something to eat. She's like, do you want anything to eat? I don't want anything to eat because I'm scared to eat. It's not like I wasn't hungry, but I was scared to eat. Like I wanted to get some like fries or something, but I'm afraid if I ate a fry, I was going to get stuck and vomit or I was going to get sick. So I told Jennifer, I really need to enjoy this concert. And she's like, oh no. And she's like, oh no. And then so my stomach started to feel better. And I told her, I said, well, I think I'm feeling better. So I go stand in the alcohol line because once again, my mama didn't raise no quitter or no teetotaler. Okay. Your mama didn't raise no quitter. She didn't raise no teetotaler. Okay. I can handle my liquor just fine. Anyway, Jennifer, like, she like, are you sure you want to drink in your stomach? I was like, girl, I feel better. I feel great. But I understand that, like, in order for me to survive through a sea of mass of people, that I'm gonna need something to take the edge off. So I stand in line. Jennifer goes and get her nachos. Her nachos are dripping everywhere. She's like, yeah, they're dripping everywhere. Her nachos, they give her a bunch of nachos. It's full and the cheese is just like dripping. And so I stand in line and I get this alcohol drink. I forgot the name of it, but it came in this. I have to show you guys my cup. It came in this light up cup, and it was like $22 or something crazy. Like I was gonna get one of these tall margarita things, but I was scared of getting something like a frozen because me and tequila are not friends, and I can't drink tequila. Tequila makes me really, really sick, like violently ill. So I get me a drink, and I was like, okay, and I start sipping on it because again, I need to take the edge off. I don't care if my stomach's gonna hurt. So by the time I sip my drink, we sat back down, and and then like we just sitting there and then we're watching the videos and then I'm starting to relax a little bit. My stomach is gurgling and burning a little bit, but I'm like, okay, I need you to stop that now. I was like, okay, stomach, I just, like we're not going anywhere. So, I'm like, I don't care. I told Jennifer, I don't care if you have to prop me up in my seat and tie me to my damn seat as I passed out. Just get the smelling salts out and let's go. Because I'm like, I am not missing this concert. I ain't come all the way here for this ish. We're not missing this concert. So the moment they hit, they brought out some people and they started doing hooligans. Me and Jennifer have been to many concerts. I have never heard a crowd so loud in my life. Like the crowd was so loud, it like shook my chest. It was so loud. And then the crowd, when they did hit hooligan, the crowd, everybody stood up because you got to stand up. You could feel like the place sway. Like I'm like, okay, I think that's what it was, or maybe I was tipsy. I don't really know which one. Ask Jennifer. But I felt like the people were really excited. People were jumping up, and I felt the whole place like sway. And I was like, what kind of seat situation is this? I was like, did y'all not buckle these seats down? Like, what is happening? But anyway, it was just amazing. And then me, most of the time, I'm subdued. And I'll stand up and I'll clap and I'll listen and I'll sway around a little bit. And I'm thinking BTS, like I'm not feeling good. I have this insane alcoholic drink. It had like vodka and rum and juice and something else in it. And I'm a little tipsy. So I didn't think, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be too. Once they hit hooligans, and then I was like, then they came out and everybody started cheering, and it was definite. Like me and Jennifer was like, our ears were popping. It was so loud. I've never experienced anything like this so loud. Once they start hooligan, you'll see my videos. You'll see my concert vlog. And all pretense dropped. All pretense dropped. Little subdued little me who was sick as a dog, who had probably alcoholic drink I shouldn't have had. I was like, I'm gonna fight through it. But when they hit hooligan, watch me, hooligan. I was like, I'm not gonna be up here screaming, acting no fool. I ain't gonna go out like that. Y'all know I was like, I'm too cool for all that. I ain't going out like no simp. Y'all ain't gonna have me up here simping for BTS, damn it. I ain't simping, okay? Hooligan hit. I totally simped out. It was done. I was like, oh, okay, well, there goes all of my dignity. There goes my dignity. My dignity left the arena. My dignity's like, I'll see you back at home. All my dignity left. I was literally screaming. Jennifer said the screams were my dignity left the arena. My dignity like, I'll come back in 2 hours. You good? Yeah, I think you're going to be good. I'll be outside waiting for my dignity left the arena. Okay. I was screaming. I was jumping. I knew my body was going to pay for it the next day. I was like, okay, this, let me go ahead and embarrass. So when you hear the, like, I tried to film and I'm trying not to scream, but you will hear screams. You will hear me screaming. You will hear me singing along. I was like, hooligan, ha 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 ha, ha, hooligan. So it was over with. I was like, well, so it was dancing, it was singing, it was me screaming. Was, she said, to hell with your dignity, girl. Y'all like that dignity was out, was gone, girl. I was like, dignity, like, I'll come back later. It was over with, and then I just, like, and I tried to film as much as I could, and I got some really good footage and put it and edited and put it all together. But you could just hear me screaming and singing, and there were some parts that, and then all of a sudden my phone started to die toward the end, and I was like, Jennifer, she's like, no. I was like, you got to film for me, Jennifer. Jennifer, like, no. I was like, Jennifer, but I need footage though. So I tried to, like, towards the end, there are some parts that there's some songs that I didn't catch um because my phone started to die and I was trying to reserve it to the very, very end. I tried my best, but all dignity. I wasn't embarrassed. I mean, I'm embarrassed now. Watching the video, I'm embarrassed. I'm just like, okay, girl. I'm just like, oh yeah, yeah. I was like, well, I remember this part. Oh, that's how you felt when you saw Big Bang? Talking about dignity, who win? It just went out the window. So yeah, all my dignity flew out the window. I had a lot of fun. Like I said, I haven't screamed that much since we went to go see Card. Now, allegedly, when we went to go see the K-pop group Card, I stood up and danced and sang. But when I went to go see Card, I was so inebriated. I was 5 sheets to the wind that I barely remember the Card concert. But Jennifer does. Jennifer was laughing and thought it was amusing. But I don't remember anything about that concert. But this concert, I remember everything. I was that one drink that I had, that was enough for me. And it was enough to calm my nerves a little bit, but it wasn't enough for me to just be inebriated the whole concert. Like, a lot of times we go to concerts, I tell you, I am a little tipsy throughout half of the concert at least, or sometimes the whole thing, depends on how many drinks I have. Um, but I thought I was gonna lose my voice, but I just jumped. Like, I mean, when Sugar came out there, I acted a fool. Like, I was jumping. By the time the next day came, by the time I laid down and came home the next day, my knees, my back, my thighs, it felt like I was on a treadmill for about 6 hours, that my whole body ached, my muscles ached. The next day I was so tired. My ears hurt because it was so loud. And me and Jennifer was like, by the next day I was tired. By the day after that, I was tired. Monday and Tuesday, I literally was in the bed. Monday was so bad that I barely even worked, like my regular job. I was just like, I can't even work. Like, I can't even, I just napped most of the day and worked a little bit because I was just so tired. I was tired. My body hurt. My body hurt in places. My body was like, what are you doing? Why are we jumping around? And knowing I got a bad knee, I got a bad back. But it was worth it though. It was worth it though. But yeah, I have a whole concert vlog. You will hear me being undignified and screaming and singing and screaming and singing some more, and just abject excitement. But I didn't expect to be sick. But I wasn't gonna let my sickness stop me from having yeah, my ears. It was loud. It was very loud. It was very loud. By the next day, my ears still were like weird. I was like, I had like a headache the next day. It was crazy. So I didn't want anything. And speaking of concerts, the day of the concert and then the night before, I was hearing that people were going to do a Black Ocean. I was like, they better, and I came on and did a short saying they better not do no damn Black Ocean. I said, if I see somebody Black Oceaning, they finna get jaw jacked up in here. I was like, ain't no way. Nobody Black Oceaned. Nobody had anything. There was a bunch of Nam June signs. There were a bunch of people clapping for Nam June. when at the end of the night, when they were all saying their goodbyes and their last thing, when they had Namjoon up there, he got the loudest cheers. Ask Jennifer. Namjoon got the loudest cheers. So I don't know what anybody is talking about, but they were cheering for Namjoon, baby. They were screaming, hollering. He got up there at the end of the night and he got a little emotional, but they were cheering. He got the loudest cheers. And he had that shirt on that had no back on, that was ripped in the back. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But they cheered the loudest for Namjoon. There was no Black Ocean. There was nothing. There was a bunch of Namjoon signs there. And I said, people had their signs, their Rap Monster signs. I said, nobody was trying to Black Ocean. Nobody, everybody had a good time. Yes, they screamed for Namjoon. They screamed. I mean, he got the loudest applause at the end of the night. They was like, yeah, you could tell that there was so much love and appreciation for Namjoon. Like they even though these people get online and trying to him up BTS. So which I fought with all week. I even have another video coming out talking about celebrities that have been arrested and stuff like that. That we've been like, not we, but I have been fighting with people. Not really fighting, but just people in my comment section talking stuff that just don't even that don't even make any sense. Even Jennifer's like, I'm tired of it. Jennifer told me that today. She's like, I'm tired of hearing about the Chris Brown ish. I'm just tired of it. I said, Jennifer, she said, you think you tired of it? God Lord. Yeah, we got in and walked to our seats and rest in the food. Yeah, and that was it. Oh, Jennifer wanted to check out. Why didn't you tell me you wanted to go check out the venue, girl? I would have got up there. I would have walked with you, Jennifer. I would have stumbled. I would have walked like this. Hi. But that Namjoon shirt, when he had that back out, I was like, okay. I can't, like I said, my recap video, I talk more about like what I felt about the venue and the concert and I break down each one of the members of because seeing the members on TV and through my TV screen and my phone is different than seeing them in person. Just like when we went to go see Jen, it was different seeing Jen like on stage and then through videos and music videos and TV. It's just different to see them up close, like live. It was definitely an experience that it kind of, it didn't change how I feel about BTS, but it kind of like, I was like, oh, I didn't notice that and didn't notice this about them physically. Like it was just different. It was different. And so that's what my recap video talks about. It's a different experience. Did I get some freebies? Jennifer got freebies and I was so out of it. And even when the show ended, I still didn't feel good as I went home that Jennifer has my freebies. Yeah, there are people giving out. Normally, I see people giving out freebies and I will go right up to them because I love my freebies. There was other people giving them out, Jennifer, but I was too sick to stop because normally I would stop. I would have been like, wait a minute, somebody's giving some free stuff out. Because anytime we were at their first AT's concert, there were a bunch of people giving out free stuff. And I was like, over here. And I would gravitate. I was like, hey, I stick my hand out. I was so sick. I wasn't even gravitating toward the freebie people. That's how you know how bad it is. Because I love freebies, y'all. I'm a freebie jacker. I jack your freebies. Like, I don't care. But Jennifer, one person gave some out and I just handed it to Jennifer. I was like, here. Like, I was so out of it. Like, I had Jennifer carry my license and my bank card. And by the time we got back to Jennifer's house and I got in the car, I was about to drive off I totally forgot about my driver's license and my ID. Like I was so tired and out of it and just felt drained, even though I didn't feel sick anymore, but I still felt like, I just felt so tired and drained. Like, what was the surprise song? It was Butterfly. Butterfly. You. Y'all like my singing? Y'all like my singing? That ride home completely quiet. Yes, girl, it was completely quiet. I was so out of it. I was so like bleary eyed and delirious. I was just like, let me just get home and get in the car. I don't think I even remember even getting home. All I know is I remember getting home, me scrubbing my face because the makeup. I don't like makeup. I don't like wearing makeup. It makes my face feel weird and itchy. And but yes, we got home, so but I don't even remember getting home. I just didn't. All I know is that for 2 or 3 days I did not feel good, and now I feel a lot better. Um, so my stomach is better now. It's good. It's good. I'm trying to think. Did I eat a lot? I didn't eat a lot today. Well, my stomach don't feel. I just don't want to eat. Like my appetite is gone, and then on top of that, I get scared to eat because I don't like being sick. I don't like vomiting like nobody does. Sucks, especially when you have two kids and my kids are looking for me to take them places and do things. I can't do that if I'm vomiting everywhere. So, so I don't like being sick. You're always that responsible one when we go out. It is true. Jennifer is always the responsible one. Like she doesn't drink. She teetotals while I be obnoxious all the time. And then I have to film because a lot of times I have to film and I'm like, Jennifer, I got to film. And she's like, oh my God. We've been having the same conversation for over a year now. I don't understand why I said, Jennifer, I got to film this part. Why? Who wants to see this? We go through the same kind. I don't understand why anybody wants to see this. This is just stupid. It's boring. I was like, no, but the audience wants to see it. I don't understand why. Like we have the same conversation because she doesn't understand. Like, I don't understand why people want to see this. It's stupid. I was like, no, people want to see it. I guess. That's always the conversation. I don't get it. She doesn't get it. She's like, it's not even interesting. I was like, yeah, I'm like, it adds to the narrative. It's okay. Yeah, Jennifer's like, we're just on a random road. It's not interesting. I was like, but people want to see the traffic. They want to see the traffic. They want to see they want to see the lead up going to the venue. I try to explain to Jennifer that you guys want to see all these things, that you guys want to act like you're there along with us. It is the POV experience. I keep telling her that. And she's just like, I just don't get it. She's like, I don't get it. So I had a good time. There's been no Black Ocean's been nothing. The Chris Brown things have truly vexed me this week. Me and Jennifer have talked about the Chris Brown thing off and on a few times, and that we were like the BTS members and Big Hit and Hyde, we were totally blindsided. I was blindsided by the Chris Brown thing. Like when I found out that they went to the concert and J-Hope posted those pictures, I was like, oh, because somebody posted it on YouTube, like, J-Hope and I was like, oh, they went to the Chris Brown concert. I clicked off the video. Oh, great. Didn't think nothing about it until the next morning. And I was like, I'm still confused how people do TikTok challenges and listen to Chris Brown, and other K-pop artists and artists have listened to Chris Brown on Instagram videos and V Lives and Weverses, and nobody has said anything about it. Like there was a whole viral dance challenge last year that a bunch of dancers and singers and even J-Hope participated in last year when that Chris Brown songs, your body lying speaks to me, yeah, speaks to me. That song. There was a whole dance challenge that a bunch of K-pop singers and people were doing, and I love that song, by the way. Even though I don't like R&B like that, but I do like that Chris Brown song. But that's a Chris Brown song, and there was told. So I was like blindsided, and I'm sure Big Hit were blindsided by this as well. All of us were blindsided. I was like, me and Jennifer was gonna go to the Chris Brown Usher concert. She would be. She like, I wanted to go. I was like, well, we talked about it. I was like, and then Jennifer's like, are they still on the Rihanna thing? I'm like, I guess. She's like, that happened in 2009. Like, we still confused. I'm still confused as to how this is a thing. And I'm like, but I'm like, but Jungkook and V is listening to Chris Brown during Weaver. This is all very suspicious to me. Like the more I think about it, the more I'm just like, this seems like a setup. Like I always got it. Y'all know I did a whole video about K-pop being a psyop. Like every time something happens, I'm like, is this a psyop? I get my tinfoil hat on. I'm like, is this a psyop? Because every time something happened that I don't understand in K-pop, I always think it's an effing psyop. Like all the time, I'm like, this has to be a psyop. this is a psychological operation. I was like, this is a setup. Like I hate to be the conspiratorial person because I'm not like that. But K-pop has made me very overly paranoid and conspiratorial when it comes to fandoms and things with idols. I am always very suspicious of everything now because you have to be in K-pop because nothing seems like there are things that are happening in K-pop that defy my logic and defy everybody else's logic. And I have to ask people, like, is it just me or does it seems weird? And then other people will be like, yeah, it is weird. I was like, right. I said, I don't understand how we went from, and then the logic behind it. I'm like, why would Hobie and RM post pictures at the Chris Brown concert if they knew something was wrong? Why would Hybe let them? I said, it's not like they left and like snuck off out the back door to the Chris Brown concert. They did not. I'm like, the agency knew where they were going. They posted video that the agency knew because the agency knows when they're going to post things. And I was like, so it's not like they snuck off. It's not like they were hiding at the Chris. They posted video of them and pictures of them there. So I'm like, if they knew, I don't think they would risk their entire career on going to a Chris Brown concert if they knew something was wrong. They didn't know anything was wrong, just like the rest of us didn't. That's why I'm so confused. I was just like, this doesn't make any sense to me. So now I'm starting to think now it's a psyop. That's my opinion. That's my opinion as of right now. Like I thought about it and I slept on it and I was like, this just seems like a psyop to me. Because again, they wouldn't have posted stuff if they thought that this was going to happen. If they really thought that there was something to, I'm sure they probably thought, well, I did a Chris Brown dance challenge last year. And then other artists have been at Chris Brown and Usher's concerts and they've posted things. So why wouldn't Namjoon and Hobie think that they could do the same? Why wouldn't they think that they would be able to do the same? It is a very odd thing to see like Justin Bieber or Bad Bunny with Chris Brown and nobody says anything. And then Namjoon and BTS are at such a height of their popularity. They're global, they're worldwide. People know them worldwide. Why wouldn't they think that they would be able to be there? They probably like, well, hell, all of our friends are there. And I told people, I said, y'all understand that like there were writers and producers and people that were there during that concert as well. So it wasn't like it was just them and they're the only famous people. There were other famous people there as well. There's thousands of other regular people there. Why wouldn't they think that they could go there? So I'm just like the logic defies all logic for K-pop fans because the logic isn't there. If I'm out and taking pictures of me at a concert and posting on my social media, obviously I would think that it was okay for me to be there. I'm not going to risk my career on going to a concert. Namjoon and Hobie are not dumb. They've been in the industry this long. They know how it is in Korea and the K-pop industry. They understand that. They wouldn't willingly, defiantly go out and do something that they know that they were going to catch backlash and hell for. They didn't, honestly, they didn't know. And again, the agency didn't know either. Because again, for the agency, it's like, okay, wait a minute. Who else is, a lot of other people at this concert? Okay, y'all can go. It'd be like them saying that Yoongi can't go to a Metallica concert. They knew Yoongi was going to go to a Metallica concert. Other people went to the Metallica concert. Why would they think anything bad about Yoongi going to a Metallica concert? Nobody would. They would be like, oh, okay. So I'm just weirded out that this has become such a thing where people are treating them worse than they're even treating Chris Brown, and he's the one that did something. And then Chris Brown served his time, and I'm like, okay, so is Chris Brown supposed to be keep paying for this? Like, are we still gonna be dragging him like 20 years from now? Chris Brown gonna be 50 years old, and everybody's still gonna keep bringing this up? I was like, I'm just confused, you know? Right? Yes. I don't see that. You don't think this one was on K Army? I don't think it was either because there are people in Korea who don't know who Chris Brown is. Like they may have heard his name, but they didn't know like who he was. So yeah. But Chris Brown, this doesn't come up. I mean, it'll come up about Rihanna, but people are not dragging Chris Brown. People wouldn't be at his tour. This is not the first time. He won a Grammy 2 years ago, y'all. I'm like, people got over this like years ago. Like around 2016, 2017, people started to get over it. And so Chris Brown has won a Grammy 2 years ago. He's been on tour before. He's taking pictures with other stars, Lizzo, Justin Bieber, Bad Bunny. People talked about Bad Bunny. Like he's taking pictures with lots of people. I'm like, what is happening? So I don't understand why J Hope and Hobie would think that they were any different than anybody else, because I don't think that they want to be different or seen differently than anybody else. And this all ties back to the Grammy shit. This all ties back to that. The BTS members don't want to be seen any differently musically, socially, and inside and outside the industry. They don't want to be able to not do things that their friends in the industry do or don't do. If other people are inviting them to this concert and telling them, oh yeah, you really need to go, we can set up something. If other people are there, they are going to want to do it too. It's just natural. They're like, okay, we've reached to the heights. We can take a private jet and go to any concert we want to. They will be invited. They will get exclusive tickets. They will get backstage, all the things that come with them being famous. So I don't understand how they're in their mind would think, oh, okay, well, other people did this and they're not dragging other people. Now, if somebody else would have went to the Chris Brown concert and they would have dragged them, then they wouldn't have gone. But the idea that other artists can go to the Chris Brown concert and nobody cares, why would they think that anything was going to happen to them? Because in their mind, I could see the agency in their mind going, well, these other people went. Why can't we go? And that's what I thought the whole unfairness, the whole cruelty about it is. They want to be treated just like everybody else. Everybody is trying to say, well, y'all transcended K-pop, y'all are global artists, but then people don't treat them that way. Then we still have these K-pop rules that y'all need to follow by. I'm like, what? I'm like, either y'all want them to be global artists or you don't. Either they're gonna stay in the K-pop reign and with these K-pop rules and this Asian culturalism, or we gonna let them go. I want BTS to be free. I want them to have the same excuses and do the same things that Western artists do. But apparently the fans don't want them to do that. And I see that now, and it's disheartening because I'm like, you want the Grammys to take them seriously. I was like, y'all, the Grammys not going to take, the Western industry is not going to take K-pop seriously and BTS seriously with the fandom acting like this. When you get to the point where people are insulting Chris Brown and Usher, who are very powerful in the industry, people are noticing. People are like, oh, this how they fandom? Because some of the stuff that was said online was borderline racist. Some of the things that I've read was said online is racist. And if people figure out, and people have been saying, because I've been in other spaces, if this is how BTS fans get down, well, we don't want them here. We don't want that. They can't come hang out with us. They can't, they're supposed to be, BTS is better than us. Like that is the attitude that is outside of K-pop in other spaces. And so the fact that people want them to apologize, to insult Chris Brown and Usher, I'm like, that's not going to happen. They're in a no-win situation. If they come out and issue an apology, it's going to insult Chris Brown and Usher. It's going to insult Chris Brown and Usher's fans. And the fans are going to come for them. I'm telling y'all, I said, the fans are like, issue an apology. They're ready. They're going to come up real quick to defend Chris Brown and Usher. And you will see a fight that I don't think people are ready to really acknowledge. That will be a lot of bad blood within the industry and within the fandoms. You're dealing with a lot of shit here. Black fans will come for them. I'm telling you, Black people will come for BTS's asses. They will come for them. They be like, oh, they think they didn't turn down the Grammys, and now they apologize for me and Chris Brown and Usher. Black folks is just, I know people online who are like, we're just waiting. They waiting to see what's gonna happen. They sitting here like this. Oh, y'all finna issue an apology? It will be an insult to Chris Brown and Usher, and then the Western fans who love Chris Brown and Usher are going to come for them. Like, they're going to come for them hard. And so there is no way that they can win this. There is no way. Like, the only thing they can do right now is stay silent because, again, you're offending more than just Chris Brown and Usher. Like, they have power in the industry. And that considers a smack in the face. That's going to affect how other artists deal with them because other artists have charges. There are a bunch of artists that have gotten in trouble in their lives. And they were like, well, we can't fuck with BTS because if we do a collaboration with them and we have charges, they're going to come for them and they're going to come for us. So they're like, no, we're not fucking with that. They already turned down the Grammys and then their fandom got us. I'm telling y'all, this is a no-win situation for them all the way around. It's a sad situation because, again, they have to be in this industry when everything is said and gone. The individual members have to be in the industry, and Namjoon and J-Hope, if they want to be in the industry. This is a no. I said, I sat there, I was like, this is a no-win situation. You are fostering bad blood within the industry enough with the Recording Academy thing. This here didn't make things any better. This just kind of made things worse. And again, you're going to if they come and do this, Black media, I'm afraid, is going to pick this up, and they're going to be like, here's another example of Asians think they're better than Black people. And then again, I don't agree with that, but that's how some people would probably spend this. And it's just going to foster more bad blood between the Asian and the Black community, between BTS and Black artists. And Black artists are going to be like, oh, they think they're too good, and may be like a freeze out. Like, well, we don't, if they think they're too good for Chris Brown and Usher, because and I told people, insulting Chris Brown and Usher, yeah, that's something you don't want to do. But not in the industry. They have a lot of power in the industry. And so that's especially Usher. Like, Usher is almost like Michael Jackson level in behind the scenes. He is up there. He knows a lot of people in the industry. And you're getting into insulting people, and you're blocking your way through the industry by doing things like this. And I was like, no, you can't follow the fandom down their road, because they have to still produce music, y'all. They still have to be in this industry. Insulting people in the industry is not the way to go. It's not. The Grammy thing I agree with, but this here, I'm like, this is a bridge too far for some people. They're like, you don't come here and insult our artists. It would be taken as a insult. And I'm like, oh no, like, oh no, because people are angry. People are really behind the scenes are very angry at BTS's fans and what they bring and what they represent. And so, and then also another thing that I didn't bring up, the whole plagiarism thing with Swim, there's something, not something, how can I put this? There's something brewing with that. There is something brewing, and I don't know what it is, but it's not something positive. There is something brewing with the Swim plagiarism thing that in the industry. There's something going on here. And I don't know if people starting to finger point other people. I don't know what's going on, but I hear that there is some sort of discord. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. I can't say that. Anyway, I won't say that. But there is some sort of thing going on with the Swim thing. That's all I can say. But I hear that there's discord. I don't know between who and whom, but there's discord. And so I don't know if certain writers and producers are mad at other people because they think that they may have, looked at these people's demos. I don't know. But I just hear that there's some kind of like, anger, and not with the BTS members, but just the production people behind the scenes. And so that adds to it. So all of this is just, you piling on things a little bit too much. And so I wouldn't want in the future for BTS's solo careers to be affected, or other members who have nothing to do with none of this, for their careers to be effective, Yeah. There's some bad blood going on. There's some bad blood going on with that Swim thing that is unexpected, Yeah, they were threatening to call ICE on them and everything. Yeah, that was horrific. And there's a lot of people there at the stadium. They're like, what the hell, Yeah, like to be big in the industry, they just want them bigger than K-pop. Yeah, they want them to be bigger than K-pop. Yeah, right, whatever, right on. That they want them to be bigger than K-pop, but then they don't want BTS to go far into the industry. But then fans turn around and piss and moan about BTS not getting opportunities or get the respect that they need. They're not. If things like this keep happening, they're not. The Recording Academy and the Grammy thing, I totally agree with. But this fandom war shit, people are not going to take them seriously in the industry with this. Now fan wars about, which member has the best hair, or who's singing, that's one thing. Or a dating scandal, that's another thing. But when the fans start bumping up against other artists, they don't fight with fans. They go behind the scenes and start asking people what's happening. I'm just saying, Western artists don't be doing this shit out in public. They go behind the scenes and they will fuck with your career. That's just kind of how it goes. They like, oh, we're not going to fight with no fans. They just going to be like, get my A&R on the phone. Get them on the phone. Who's working with BTS? Which one? We don't agree with that. We don't agree with that. Tell them not to work with them. If they want to work with me, don't work with them. That's how things happen in the industry. It's always covert. It's never out in the open. K-pop fans are stupid and dumb and they're childish. Their stuff is out in the open. I'm like, in the Western music industry, it is never out in the open. They don't air their grievances out like that. If Chris Brown has a problem, if Usher has a problem, he's going to go through his A&R and through his label. That's where they're going to handle it. They're going to handle it behind the scenes. That's where they're going to handle it. That's where they're going to have their talks and conversations. They're not going to go online and be fighting with fans. Besides Chris Brown telling that one fan to pray about it, ho. But well, that was hilarious. Like, I was cracking off, fell on the floor. He told the fan, pray about it, ho. And then he deleted it. That's hilarious. But I'm just saying that, like, people don't understand that, like, fans don't understand, like, this stuff right here. Y'all want to fight on social media. They fighting in the boardroom. They going behind the scenes, and they will start blacklisting people if they feel so offended. Like, that's kind of how it happens. They start having conversations. Get Big Hit on the phone. Let me talk. Okay, so what's going on? Do your artist not want to be here? And then they're gonna have to explain it to somebody in the West in terms that they understand, that they may not understand, because they're like, why is the fandom doing this? Why are they insult? Because people, executives in the West don't understand K-pop fandoms and all that. So I said the things that the fandoms assume is not in a basis of realism and logic. So the things that people understand that the fans are doing are hurting BTS in the end. It's hurting them possibly behind the scenes. So a lot of times when people talk about BTS not getting a Grammy and getting nominated and all this shit, I was like, could part of it be also the fandoms that they don't want to deal with y'all shit? Like, that could be possibly part of it as well. That they don't like being bullied. You're not going to bully people. You're not going to bully artists in the West, because they're not going to fight with you online. They just going to take it to the back. So I was like, these fandoms, y'all are out of your depth, because y'all are hindering BTS's status in the industry that you guys are trying to break into. You want BTS to win a Grammy? Then I need you to sit down and shut the hell up. I'm like, I need you to understand that, like, okay, this is not helping. The way a person feels individually, that's fine. But going online and harassing Chris Brown and his mama and harassing Chris Brown's fans and trying to bait Chris Brown fans, and Chris Brown fans are in their 40s and 50s and they don't care. And they were like, okay, y'all are psychotic. So yes, going online and insulting Chris Brown as a fandom and doing things like this is not helping nobody. It's not helping you. It's not helping BTS. Chris Brown don't care. He got 140 million followers. He didn't added tour dates to the tour. It just increased their fame anyway. It made people want to go to their tour even more. So I was like, y'all aren't doing what y'all think y'all doing. The only people y'all are hurting is BTS in the end. That's the only people that are going to hurt potentially because of this. They are going to catch hell. They are the ones that are going to be in the background, people having conversations that they have to deal with. Like, now I got to deal with the A&R wants to talk to our A&R and they don't understand, because people want to know, okay, what's happening? Why are we being attacked online? They don't want to be, Usher didn't want to be attacked online. Chris Brown don't want to be attacked online. They're like, what is happening? They don't know. They're not in K-pop fandom spaces. Like, to sit there and tell artists in the West, like, oh, it's no big deal. They're like, wait a minute, it is a big deal, because they're out here threatening my mama. So yeah, it's a big deal. I'm like, yeah, like threatening Chris Brown's mama. Like, I'm sure Chris Brown has a problem with that. Like what, honey, I'm being harassed online. What? Why? What happened? So, they're like, wait a minute, you being harassed online? They were harassing Chris Brown's mom. Yeah, the fandom is embarrassing, They are. They're doing a lot more harm than good. And then they're not doing anything. I was like, they're not going to apologize. So you have two choices. Either to get your life and move on, get your life and find it, and move on, and not be fans of BTS or whatever, or take some time to decompress and get over it, or just keep it moving. Just be like, okay, well, I'm offended about that. And like I told people in my comment section, it is okay for you not to support them being at the concert. I never tell people what their moral line should be and what they should feel. That's how they feel. But I have to tell people that it's hypocritical because half of our celebrity history have been in jail. I have a video coming up which talks about that. And I break down all the major celebrities who have been in trouble. I said, I hope y'all ain't finna go see that Avengers movie, because Robert Downey Jr. has been in prison before for several charges. So I was like, y'all still fucking with MJ? How many of y'all went to go see that Michael movie? Me and Jennifer did. Raise your hand. I saw the Michael movie. Y'all still effing with Michael Jackson? It made $1 billion. So people telling me, well, it's hard to separate the artist from the crime. Wait a minute. MJ went on trial twice up here with little boys. What y'all talking about? Like, what are we? Y'all still like MJ? Y'all was still at that MJ movie talking about Michael. I'm like, so we just gonna cherry pick what? I say you might as well go ahead. Justin Bieber then went to jail. What y'all? He used to get in the fight with paparazzi. I said, come on now, come on. You know, I'm like, yeah, Kendrick Lamar. I'm like, girl, don't even get me started with that Brad Pitt thing. Because I read that story recently that another one of his kids is going to take off his name. So I said, whatever happened between Brad Pitt and his children, it's severe. Because all of the kids is pretty much like, we're done with him. So it's more than just that plane. I didn't hear about a history of Brad Pitt. That's a whole nother story for another video. But yeah, I've heard, like, I like Brad Pitt. I really do. But as a person, no. Because the things that I've heard about him as a person, as a father, which gets in my craw about him not being a good father. He cannot be a good husband. He can cheat on his wives and girlfriends. I don't care about that. But at least take care of your kids. But all these kids, like his daughter came forward the other day. Yeah, she wants his name gone. She is no longer being Pitt. All of these kids are dropping his name. They don't have nothing to do with him. They like, don't call me. Don't. I said, woo. I said, that's a sad thing though. To have the kids just, Yeah, they were using racist comment. Yes, Daphne, they were. And so that's why I came and did my video talking about that K-pop fans are okay with BTS not being respectful to Black artists, but then they glaze these other artists all the time. That they okay with it's the expectation that as legendary Black artists beyond Chris Brown and anything like that they, like the things that I read this week. It's like, I'm like, wait a minute. And then other people have noticed this. I haven't been the only content creator, but I'm just like, okay, but y'all want them to glaze these other artists. But then if it's a Black artist, people are like, well, who is that? And da-da-da. I was like, well, that's such and such. That's a legend in the industry. Well, I don't understand why BTS is excited. Why wouldn't BTS be excited to meet somebody that they listened to their music as a kid? Like, why would they? It's like, people can't fathom the idea. I'm like, and BTS are always respectful. And then, because they were online talking about, well, BTS act like there's some kind of new group. I'm like, Chris Brown. Somebody came in my comment section, was like, well, Chris Brown's not a legend. Are you? Half of K-pop in the early 2000s is off of Chris Brown and Usher. Half of K-pop, the dances, the songs, the style. If you go back and listen, I was like, don't even fix your mouth and your brain to even go there. Everybody knows that in the early 2000s, like back in the day, everybody know that between 2005 and 2009, before Chris Brown got in trouble, that everybody in K-pop was biting off of Chris Brown back in the early 2000s. Big Bang, EXO, you go Super Junior, you go back and look in those groups, HOT, 2PM, they were all biting off of Western artists. Chris Brown was the hottest thing in the early 2000s at a very young age. Him and Usher were like the premier, and some other artists were the premier R&B artists that everybody was doing dance moves and copying. They were everything back then. For somebody to get in my comment section and tell me that Chris Brown is no big deal, I'm like, you must be 20 years old. Because again, for those of us who lived it, we can attest to you that they were big. Before, there wouldn't be no Justin Bieber if it wasn't for Usher. Usher is a legend, and Usher is 50 something years old. He is older than BTS. He's been in the industry longer than BTS. Chris Brown is older than BTS. He's almost 40. He's been in the industry longer than BTS has. He's so the idea that I may not like Chris Brown personally or whatever, but to sit up here and then try to throw shade at Chris Brown's career, okay, that's a bridge too far for me. I mean, like, okay, now we're getting into wackadoo territory. We're getting into revisionist history. If you go back and look on YouTube and look up Chris Brown's resume in the industry, it's hit after hit after hit after hit after hit. Chris Brown was literally a hit maker over and over again. He had his collaborations with artists is very well known. So the idea that people are acting like anytime BTS are excited about meeting a black artist, that they immediately want to diminish this artist. Like the same thing about Busta Rhymes. Like a lot of us were excited about BTS meeting Busta Rhymes and Nas, and people online were like, they just was like, well, who's Busta Rhymes? I'm like, okay, kids, okay. Busta, I'm like, Busta is a legend in the industry. He's a rapper. He's a legend. Like, same thing with Nas. I'm like, Nas, of course, Sugar and RM are going to be excited about meeting Nas. Why wouldn't they? Like that's RM's hero. Like he said it before, Nas. That was his inspiration. Like, it just seems like every time they meet a rapper or a black artist, it's always something like, well, who is that really? Look, just because you don't know who it is, go online and look. Google it. I feel for the love of God, we live in a technology age. It's kind of like it's dismissed. But if BTS meets Somber or some other Nugu artist that been around or Olivia Rodrigo, then they all up their asses. I'm just like, okay, they ain't even, or Sabrina Carpenter. I'm like, she ain't even been in the industry long enough. What are y'all talking about? Then they're like, ooh, Sabrina Carpenter and BTS or Somber. These are people that have been in the industry for like 4 years. Like, what are y'all talking? Malcolm Todd literally been in the industry for about 4 or 5 years. What are y'all talking about? I'm like, these are nice artists. Yes. But they're not legends in the artists. So I have to constantly explain to people in my comment section, you're dealing with legends. These are not just some rapper, some random rapper somewhere. These are people that have hit after hit after hit, Grammy nominated, Grammy award winning people who've written songs, produced songs for other people, collaboration inside, in front of the camera and behind the camera. Like I'm constantly having to school people about who black artists are. But when it comes to anybody that's not black or not a person of color, then they like, oh, okay. Then they're like, oh, okay. Like I had the same conversations about Shakira and Burna Boy. I'm like, Shakira, well, nobody cares about Shakira. Excuse me, nobody cares about Shakira. Well, hold on, okay? Now I'm getting offended personally, okay? You don't go there about Queen Shakira. Like you don't go there about Shakira, who's been in the industry, who was cranking out hits for a long time. That still looks fabulous, even though Shakira, like damn, we're 50, she looked good. I'm like, don't go. I mean, they were dismissive of Shakira and Burna Boy. I'm like, don't do that with Burna Boy and Shakira. I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That they were very dismissive, and I've noticed this over and over and over again. And I'm like, Shakira, what? I'm like, what you mean? Who is Shakira? What you mean? Shakira then turned out some of the biggest World Cup songs. Shakira that back in the day had collab after collab that had hit after hit. Grammy nominated Shakira. I'm like, y'all are throwing shade at Shakira? I'm like, Shakira is really worldwide famous. Like they love her everywhere. Like she's like a Latin American legend. Like, are you? And y'all just don't. Burna Boy. Are we gonna go there with Burna Boy? I don't even listen to Burna Boy, but I know who he is. Like, just because y'all ignorant selves don't know, don't dismiss these artists because y'all are not familiar who they are. But then BTS met Justin Bieber, and everyone's like, oh my God, like Justin Bieber, that criminal who was saying the N-word on a video. Okay. Because again, the activism is performative. It is not real. K-pop fans have made me angry and upset because it is not real. I said in my army video that's coming up that it is distressing to me and cruel that people take real people's issues and turn them into performative and weaponize it against other K-pop fans. People don't really care about DV. They don't care that Rihanna got punched in the face by Chris Brown. They don't really care about that. They don't care about what really happened between them two. I lived it. I'm a Rihanna fan. So the idea that in 2026 I'll be up here low key and defending Chris Brown like disturbs my soul and blows my mind. But Chris Brown served his time. And I said, so what is Chris Brown supposed to do? Keep paying for what he did in 2009? Y'all can't, in Korea, that's what y'all do. But we don't do that here in America. We don't keep penalizing people over and over again for things that happened in their past. In that case, half of Hollywood would be out of a job and 90% of the music industry will be out of a job. That's why I did my video talking about all the artists that have been in trouble with the law. Robert Downey Jr. had been in prison. He's been in jail. For various, all kinds of offenses. Sean Penn, him and Madonna had a volatile relationship. He was an alcoholic. He has charges. Justin Bieber had been in jail, had beat up paparazzi. I'm like, what are we talking about here? If y'all want to take this moral high horse, then y'all need to not watch anything in the West because half of these mofos have been in jail. Lindsay Lohan, Paris Hilton. I've lived through all of those years in the 90s where literally everybody was getting in trouble every other fucking day. Everybody know I didn't live with Lindsay Lohan arrested again. Dang. Lindsay Lohan on Hallmark movies on Netflix, y'all. Lindsay Lohan done beat up a chick at a club. She done got DUIs, DWIs. Lindsay Lohan been fell out drunk. Lindsay Lohan done had possession charges. And y'all want to talk about that? I said, oh, I guess BTS can't meet them either. So I'm again, if you're going to talk about people who got charges, I guess BTS ain't meeting nobody because half of Hollywood in the industry has had troubles. They've been in jail before. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. I mean, everybody, I talk about Matthew McConaughey. I talk about like all these people have had charges. And I'm like, so are BTS not supposed to meet these people because somebody's offended because Robert Downey Jr. used to be a whole cokehead? Like, what are we talking about here? All these people got charges. Some people have charges. Eddie Murphy had that. He had that transvestite. He was in the car with that when he got arrested for solicitation. I mean, I'm like, so we I guess everybody has to have a background check before BTS meet with them. I'm like, it's gonna be a long year, okay? Because I'm like, they're not gonna meet anybody in the West because everybody got charges. Snoop Dogg almost went to prison for murking somebody, y'all. Like, what are we talking about? Dr. Dre, a known violence against women person. Dr. Dre and Miss LA, if you know, you know. He has a whole ass reputation for putting his hands on women. So I was like, I guess they can't meet Dr. Dre either because him and Miss LA is well documented known to Dr. Dre. Put his hands on Miss LA over and over and over again. He is known, Dr. Dre, to be putting his hands on women. So I was like, I guess they can't meet them either. There's going to be a whole list of people that they can't meet because there's a whole list of people that have committed crimes, gotten into fights. Johnny Depp used to get into trouble back in the day. Winona Ryder went to jail for stealing $5,000 worth of shit at Saks Avenue. I go through a litany of celebrities that have had problems. There's a lot of them. In the 90s and the 80s, it was on and popping back then. It was the time of excess. A lot of people got in trouble. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they were young adults and not American. That's what I'm saying. They wouldn't know everything about celebrities. But I tell people, instead of picking on one person, they need to look at the industry as a whole. Like, okay, as a whole, it's not that hard. It's a Google search away. You can look and see what stars have had charges and stuff like that. And I understand that some people aren't American and they not born and raised here and they not, but they get on the internet and they say it with their whole chest. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. I'm like, do y'all understand how many people have been arrested and went to jail? They like, no, it's Chris Brown. And okay, but who else then went to jail besides? I was like, Snoop Dogg then went to jail. Like, what are y'all talking about? What are we doing? So again, it's no sense of logic behind it because again, I'm like, so are y'all going to, because I'm like, well, other artists met with Chris Brown. Are y'all going to cancel them too? There's no consistency. I can't take this serious when there's no consistency or logic behind it. So because in my mind, if you're gonna cancel BTS and be mad at them, then you should be mad at Cardi B, Lizzo, Justin Bieber, Bad Bunny, and every other artist that met with them. By that logic, by their logic, by their rules, if you meet with Chris Brown, then you should be in the same category as him as condoning DV. Well, then I said, okay, then. Well, here's a list of people that met with Chris Brown. Are y'all gonna stop listening to them? Are y'all gonna go online and harass them? My point is just be intellectually honest. Just be honest and say either I don't like BTS, period, and this is a way to get at them, or be honest and say, well, I don't really care about DV. I just care how it looks with BTS meeting them. I would respect people a lot more. I said it in my video. I said I would respect y'all a lot more if y'all just be intellectually honest. If they would just say, look, I don't care about whether Chris Brown hit Rihanna or not. All I care is how it looks with BTS. Touche. I would be like, hey, you're a good one. I'll be like, good point. But the idea that people try to case it in some kind of morality, but then when I'm like, okay, so are you going to cancel all the rest of these people too? And they're like, okay. No, they're not. It's just so BTS can't do what everybody else do. I said, so is that what you're saying? Because if you're saying that, then just say it. Just say it. Just be like, well, BTS has a different standard. I would respect somebody that would just come out and be intellectually honest about it instead of casing it in morality. You know, that's what I'm saying. And not, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Sarah, you might as well stop listening to music. I was like, well, y'all might don't watch it no more. Don't go see that Avengers because Robert Downey Jr. is in there. I'm like, just don't listen to any kind of Western music and we good. If you're going to have that level of morality and standard for BTS, it should be for everybody. BTS shouldn't be held to a standard that other artists are not held to. It's okay if Bad Bunny hangs out with Chris Brown and goes drinking and go clubbing with him. But then BTS, they go to a concert. They weren't even hanging out with him. And then they're slammed. But then you're not going to slam Bad Bunny. You're not. Because again, you only care about if BTS do it. And like I said, I would respect people if they would come out and be intellectually honest about that and just say that they only care about what BTS do. I would respect that a lot more. But to case it in, no, we can't let people support people like this. Okay, great, good, I'm with you. Okay, so let's go and slam everybody. But then they don't do that. That's what I'm saying. And what about idols that work with problematic people? They don't. There's no consistency. All right, y'all. I had to do that. So there's no consistency. So again, I want, when people talk about moral issues, I expect there to be some sort of moral high ground and consistency in what they think. But with K-pop fans, there is none. There is none. People are talking about BTS being their saviors and being feminists and all this like that is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. That people are like, well, I feel safe with BTS. You don't know BTS and you're not with them. So I don't know what BTS are misogynist or not. I don't know if they are or not. I did a whole video with people because people were in my comment section talking about, I thought BTS were feminists. Who said BTS was feminist? Said BTS nobody. BTS never said they're feminist. I'm like, why would a Korean man say they're feminist? Or people like, well, I thought BTS was different than other men. Based on what? Based on effing what? Because of a song, because of some songs they wrote? I just laugh. I'm like, well, I thought BTS were different than other guys. Based on what? Look, just because you may have past trauma in your life, then you need to go to a psychologist and therapist or yourself and work that out. Expecting 7 men to be different than regular men or other men is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Expecting BTS to carry water or carry the torch for feminism and they're men, that's an oxymoron within itself to me. You're expecting men to be feminists? What? I was like, that is the most absurd thing I've ever. I'm expecting 7 men from Korea to advocate for women's rights and be feminists? Child, the day I look toward men to advocate for women to be feminists is the day I'm going to be in my grave, okay? There's no way in hell I'm looking to men to champion any kind of women's causes or to be champions for women's rights. I'm going to look to men. I'm not going to look to women. I'm not going to look to myself. I'm looking to 7 men from Korea to be the champion of women's causes. You got me effed up, okay? That was the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life. They're men. They're men. They don't have they don't have our parts. They don't have our hormones or our parts. How are they going to advocate for women based on what? They're men. They can't understand what it's like to be women. They're men. Men are not feminists. I don't care what anybody say. People like that. That's a cute buzzword. Women feminists. I said, okay. Those two things don't even go together. I don't care what anybody say. I don't care how enlightened a man is. I am not anointing a man as, well, you advocate for women. The hell they do. That sounds great, but I'm just like, I need to see some evidence. You know. That's what I said, what it has to do with, but again, Linda, there are a lot of people in the industry that are not good people. Robert Downey Jr. is not a good person. He's had things in his past that he has done. Let me put it that way. And again, in America, we don't operate like that. In America, people serve their time, and then people, they don't hold on to it like the cancel culture they have in South Korea. People are taking what goes in South Korea, which they will cancel you for being in trouble with the law, and you don't have a career. I said, what was Chris Brown supposed to do? Not never have a career? Was he supposed to crawl on it? I asked somebody that. I said, so what do you want him to do? To him never have a career again? This is America. This is not South Korea. There are plenty of people who have charges long time ago, and they have careers. Nobody's like, Robert Downey Jr. can't be in movies anymore because he was a cokehead and a dope fiend, and he was in prison twice. Like, he served his time, he got out, he turned around his life. He's Iron Man. Like, no one's going back and being like, and he's not shy about his past or the things that he did when he was younger and how he grew up. And he's not blaming anybody. He took responsibility and moved on. Justin Bieber got in trouble in 2014. There's mug shots of Justin Bieber. But y'all are still like, yay, Justin Bieber. He got over that. That was 10 years ago, y'all. Like, nobody's like, ooh, Justin Bieber, he got in trouble. He was a knucklehead for about 3 or 4 years. Yeah, people will cancel you for cheating in South Korea. So I don't know. But anyway, I have to end this live stream, you guys. I will be back for a live stream tomorrow where I have a Q&A, and we will discuss more about this topic tomorrow. I have to go pick up my child. My son is calling me. Talking about, Mom, come get me. Yeah, and Robert Downey Jr. is one of the highest paid actor. Again, Lindsay Lohan, Paris Hilton, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson still has a career. Y'all still glaze Michael Jackson. I said people feel how they feel about the trial and the case and everything like that. But people talk about you can't separate the art from the artist. Yeah, you can, because half of the industry is full of ish. Y'all still like Marvin Gaye and Sam Cooke and they whole ass essayists and beaters. Y'all like Marvin Gaye. Y'all like James Brown, don't y'all? Go look up James Brown. Go look up James Brown. See what kind of reputation he got. See all the things that James Brown did. Thank you. I got a gift. Oh, thank you. Oh, look, that's cute. Thank you, MSJT. Yeah, go look up James Brown and go look up all the things that in the trouble he got into with the law. Everybody still loves James Brown. People still, oh, he's Godfather's soul. Da, 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 da. Y'all still like him. Ain't nobody trying to cancel James Brown, even though he dead. But people, his reputation didn't get tarnished for all the women he didn't put his hands on and put in the hospital anyway. But anyway, y'all go look that up. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I'll come and do another live stream, and we're going to have more on this subject, and I'll do a Q&A. Y'all go and get y'all questions ready. If y'all got some industry questions, y'all got some tea, y'all want to know some tea, I will be honest in telling you whatever you want to know within a point. But y'all get y'all questions ready for tomorrow. So tomorrow at the same time, y'all have a good night. I thank you guys for being here. Thank you, everybody. I got to go get my son before he starts crying. Anyway, bye, y'all.